Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Hold the Mic. I'm your host, Ryan Shead. This is my co-host, Ian Sherman. Brother, how are you doing?
What up, though?
And as you all can see, we have our guest today, Mr. Enrique Tarrio, the former national chairman of the Proud Boys, who was recently pardoned by Donald Trump after being sentenced to 22 years in prison for seditious conspiracy related to the January 6th Capitol attack. Serving just under 2 years of that sentence. So welcome to the show, man. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate it. I know it got started with us taking some pretty nice jabs at each other. So definitely looking forward to having this conversation with you.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys for having me on. I always say like it's healthy to have these conversations, even though they start with tweets back and forth. And again, I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Nice,
it was a lovely cat fight to be on the sidelines and see you two go at it. Let me tell you. Again, you guys always claim women are a little more emotional. I'm just saying for both of you.
I mean, it's Twitter too. So look, I was a Twitter user since 2007. They banned me in 2017. So needless to say, I haven't been on Twitter for 6 or 7 years. So
for a while.
Getting my rocks off.
There you go.
All right.
So before we get started though, because we actually do have quite a few listeners in different countries right now. So we wanted to touch on what exactly seditious conspiracy is. And it's an agreement by two or more people to incite hatred or contempt against the state or its institutions, or to promote unlawful means to alter established laws or policies, but it falls short of treason. So for those wondering what exactly he was charged with, that kind of sums it up. So, but we wanted to ask you in your words, how would how he feels be the right way to put it? But like,
how do you feel this whole thing kind of turned out for you, man?
There you go.
So also sedition in the law is a little bit different, right? It's technically an obstruction charge, right? Because the way that the law is actually written is you have to try to stop by the use of force. And it could be a conspiracy, obviously. The function of the federal government, or you try to overthrow the federal government by force. That's like how 18 USC 2384 is written. You can do that by example, and I'm not saying that that's what I was accused of, but like, let's say an FBI agent is leaving in his car to go do a raid or something. If I put my hands on his car and I push back on his car, that is the force, and I'm stopping a law from being executed. So that is technically considered sedition. Obviously, that's not what I'm accused of. But your question is, how do I feel about it?
Well, about how this all worked out for you. You being the leader of Proud Boys, and
let's start off by it worked out great because I'm here now. But it kind of showed, it isn't my first rodeo with the feds, but it obviously showed the power of the federal government when it comes to dealing with political opposition or dissident, right? We're not the first ones to go through this, right? Civil rights leaders obviously went through it. And I'm not in any way comparing myself to civil rights leaders, but it is a tool that they've been using for a very long time. And the way that the justice system, the things that we were taught as kids when we did have civics class, which most schools don't have now, is complete bullshit. It doesn't exist. That justice system where the lady's blind and the scales are even, it doesn't exist.
Well, it doesn't exist because people they pick and choose when the justice system is going to apply. And that's really the biggest problem that we see here is
those in power, right?
I mean, yeah, those in power. I mean, a perfect example would be Donald Trump and Elon Musk and everybody saying that we should start impeaching judges because they don't push or agree with Trump's agenda, or they aren't giving him the decisions that he wants. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, it's exactly that.
I think the problem also is giving those people, like, obviously you oppose Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and obviously I oppose Biden, Kamala Harris, Soros, and all of that, right? Which I guess it would be the equivalent on the other side. Obviously, I don't feel that way. But for the most part,
well, I mean, okay. With that said, let me ask you this question: what is it about a literal convicted felon, prolific business fraud, an adjudicated rapist and accused pedophile that you think is better than Kamala Harris or Joe Biden for that matter?
I'll tell you what, we had 4 years of Kamala Harris and we had 4 years of
Kamala
Trump.
Harris, dude. Can you not say her name right?
Another thing, I speak Spanish, so that's how we pronounce it.
Well, that's not how she pronounces it, so maybe you should learn how to say it.
I really don't care how she pronounces it. That's how I pronounce
it. I know you guys don't.
Like
you guys don't have any kind of respect for anybody, how they want to identify their names.
You're kind of right. I don't have any respect for them. They tried to put me. Look,
so let me ask you this then. So why do you want to come onto my show and expect us to show you respect when you can't even show anybody else respect?
Well, I'm showing you respect. I don't have to respect.
Well, but you're not. But you just said you don't care and you don't respect anybody. So I would assume that implies to me, especially if it doesn't apply to somebody like Kamala Harris, a former AG, somebody who worked her way up from the bottom on like Donald Trump or anybody that you support. Mm-hmm. So again, why a rapist and a pedophile and a felon over her? I'm really just wondering.
Ridiculous.
What is?
So check this out. We had 4 years of Harris. We had 4 years of Biden.
Yeah, and you're seeing the 4 years of Trump inflation rate to speak for it.
He's only been here for 2 months, so let's just
exactly. So the inflation rate has nothing to do with him. Thank you for pointing that out.
So 4 years of Trump, 4 years of Kamala Harris.
You had 4 years of Biden. You never had 4 years of Kamala Harris.
You had 4 years of Kamala Harris.
No, you didn't.
Yes, you did.
You had 4 years of Biden. It was never her agenda.
He didn't do anything.
So again, you're spitting bullshit.
People actually spoke in November, and they voted against it.
Go ahead, Ian, take it.
Just in general with what you're saying is that you're insinuating that Kamala was actually in control where Biden was a corpse, practically, right?
I mean, he was a corpse. I mean, we saw that. We don't have to guess. We saw that for years and years and years, and we saw it on the debate stage.
Okay, I mean, I'll give you that he was old.
You disagree?
I'm not even suggesting that. That means nothing to me. It's a past 4 years. But with that, you're talking about it from a standpoint. I'm in New York, so we know that Trump is no longer the same Trump. He's an old man. He literally equally is right there. He just has higher energy, and you could tell that there is a mental decline that's happening right now and unfolding in front of all of us, where we're watching him really just ramble and babble and losing. And he calls it a weave because he only knows how to, stick and move like a New Yorker does. But when we're watching the decline happen, do you or can you agree that Trump is declining and he's not the same as 4 or 8 years ago?
I can agree that he's definitely not the same as 4 years ago. I think the guy is a lot more electric in this new term than he is in the past 4 years. I think he's done more good in these 2 months than he did in the previous 4 years. I think he learned a lot, and something that
So what good has he done?
God for is that stolen election in 2020.
What good has he done?
I mean, if you want to
talk
name
about policy is what pretty much the question would be.
Well, look, I'm gonna be dead honest with you guys. I just got out of prison, right? I'm a news junkie, and I took a look, and I don't go in.
This sounds like a lot of bullshit that you're saying. No, I don't have anything specifically that I can give you.
Can I finish?
No, because you're bullshit. You're talking fucking right. We're just going to let him fucking talk circles and not answer the fucking question? It's a simple question. Give me one fucking thing that Donald Trump has fucking done besides fucking rape women and shit. Come on.
I mean, you don't got to be a little faggot about it. Just let me finish.
Ooh, little faggot. Ooh, there you go. Good one, buddy. You can't answer a fucking question. Now you want to call me a faggot.
The question is, what policies that you were in prison reading that Trump is doing that you agree
I was
with?
In prison when Trump was elected. Within less than 12 hours, I was outside of prison.
Okay, so when you were not in the box cuffs and going around, there was no news being talked about. You guys were pretty much in solitary confinement. Yes. And for the most part, you got out and did you decompress from news, or are you now engulfing in news?
I'm decompressing from news, but I could tell you when it comes to border crossings, the DEI, negotiating ceasefires with Russia and Ukraine. I mean, not being as close to World War III as we were for the 4 years of Biden.
Okay.
And
when you're talking about border crossing,
he appointed Musk to dismantle the frivolous government spending. I mean, it's been an amazing 2 months.
Just with the points that you just touched on, you're talking about the border. We just wasted $16 million by sending 40 people to Guantanamo Bay who are back in America. That seems like a waste. $16 million. When you're talking about Doge, we just spent $636 billion in the last February, that just passed. And if you look at last year when Biden was in, that's 36 more than what he spent. So what is Doge actually saving?
Well, I'll tell you what Doge just saved is $115 billion in tax savings. That's on its own.
That seems like a trust me, bro policy that you're telling me right now.
You got USAID. I mean, again, if we want to talk about policy again,
USAID, everybody just got put back in their job by the judges, who I know you have an issue with judges.
I mean, judicial coups are just as bad, dude. You know, and you see these activist judges going down.
So you're against Donald Trump trying to impeach judges, then, right?
Listen, I don't think the impeachment thing works. I'll be honest with you. I don't think the impeachment.
That's not the question. You're against Donald Trump trying to impeach judges and do exactly what you just said, right?
At least your buddy over here has some decency. So,
well, no, I don't have decency. I don't respect you at all. Just like you don't respect anybody else. You can't even say Kamala Harris's name right.
I don't respect you. That's why I actually.
I know you don't.
Here, so
but here's the thing. I'm not worried about names because Henry, I believe, is your birth name, but you chose to go by Enrique.
No, actually, it's that reverse. My birth name was Enrique. When I was in middle school, I changed it to Henry, and then I went back to Enrique. So on my birth certificate, it is Enrique Tarrio.
It's Enrique Tarrio. And you don't want to be called by anything else but Enrique Tarrio.
You can call me Henry Enrique. If you could mispronounce it if you want, I have no problem.
It doesn't mean it's a name. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me is looking at how this all played out. And one of the things that really stuck out to me was you were not in DC when the shit went down.
No.
You were in Baltimore in a hotel, correct?
Yes, I was.
My biggest thing about this is that you were handed a document, 1776 return document.
I wouldn't say handed, but yeah,
This was passed into your direction.
It was passed into my direction, yes.
Okay. That was passed by Erica Flores. Is that her name?
That is correct.
Are you guys still close?
No.
Okay. Because she's the what, crypto queen or whatever in Miami?
I believe that's what they call her, yes.
Okay. So that's who she is today. She doesn't know where she got that document?
Actually, we all know where the document came from. So we'll start with how that document got in my hands. And it never actually got in my hands. And
so a digital copy that you pass around to the boys.
A digital copy was never passed around. It was a message. It was an unread message. And I never opened the document. That's even the FBI forensics expert at our trial testified to that. It was in my phone, sent to me, similar to, like, let's say I send you that 1776 document to your email and you never open it. So it was never passed around. Another thing, the document itself is not very, it sounds nefarious. You know, the name sounds horrible, but the document itself is basically how to stage a sit-in, which we see from my Democrat counterparts all the time. I should have been exonerated just for that, because there's no way in hell that my guys, if I tell my guys that we're going to do a sit-in, they would never agree to do a sit-in because it's cringe and it's just not effective.
I mean, a bunch of boys who listen to a Broadway play that they named themselves after is cringe for a sit-in.
Touche.
One of the biggest things that I think about this is that this document came to you or whatever. It came into your atmosphere and then it got passed around.
Yeah.
This document gave a play-by-play of what the tactics would be. But why was it held against you so closely?
Do you have a copy of that document, by the way?
I do not have it. Erica did not send it to me.
Play to do a sit-in just sounds, you're putting too much umph into it. It basically shows how to go into a building, sit down, and wait for the cops to come to arrest you. Now, the document itself started as a war game in Langley, Virginia, at the headquarters of CIA, as a war game. The person that handed this document, I'm sorry?
I thought you just said you never read it.
No, I never read it until I got to trial. Obviously, I read it after trial because that's what they used to indict me. So the document itself was a war game from the CIA. This isn't no QAnon level shit. That's exactly how it worked.
Okay.
And then it was given to Erica Flores, and that person told her, "You need to give this to Enrique before January 6th." And it was
that Samuel, or is that somebody else?
Samuel Arms. That is correct.
Okay.
Samuel Arms. And when it was sent to me, I never opened the Telegram message. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they sent me that document about 2-3 days before I got arrested on January 4th, and my phone was taken from me and it was frozen in time. So at the time, I had no access to it all the way up to January 6th. So I couldn't share it. I couldn't give it to anybody. And honestly, after reading it, it's pretty stupid plan.
But if it's in Telegram, everybody has access to it because it's a group chat. So if it's there, it's in there.
Yeah, if it's there, yes. And like WhatsApp, if you see something, it has a double check. So I didn't even read it. I didn't see it. I didn't open it. And again, that was confirmed by even the US government at the time. One thing that they didn't do is when they went to go to get the grand jury indictment on me, is they showed that document to the grand jury, but they never told them that that document wasn't opened by me. They just said, hey, this was on his phone. And that is why I got indicted to begin with. That is the only piece of evidence that they had against me at the time of the grand jury indictment, which led to my arrest.
So how can you take us through a roadmap of how you guys go from meeting together, being okay, for example, Gavin as a 46-year-old who created Vice Media, creates Proud Boys. He starts getting his cage rattled where people are talking about the what the Proud Boys are. The fact that it has this stain of being a white nationalist group, hate group, definitely aggressive in the streets. There's talk of the Ministry of Self-Defense that's built in there. That's, I believe, came after you.
I created the Ministry of Self-Defense.
Okay, and then Gavin stepping down and you taking over. Are you and Gavin still close?
I wouldn't say close, but we talk. We've never actually been close, but we talk.
Got it, because you're the Miami branch, and then you kind of just took over all the real estate, pretty much.
I got voted in after he stepped down. Yes.
Okay. How do the Proud Boys come from being a bar hub, like Crawl, Broadway musical, singing along, to January 6th? Can you take us on a journey for that?
So to take you on a journey on what the Proud Boys, how they started, it was started as a joke. It wasn't supposed to go past that one night at the bar. He was trying to get his intern laid. Still never worked. He was a 25-year-old virgin. I don't know what his status is now, but he did it on a Friday, and then on Monday.
And that's here in New York City.
That is in New York City. That's at Sullivan's. I don't know if you're familiar with the bar.
I've seen it.
After that, it kind of grew wings because he kind of just said, hey, you guys should do this too across the country. And we kind of did. I started when I started in the Miami chapter, there was only 3 people. It was at that point only a drinking club, right? And then we saw these left-wing activists called Antifa and BLM in the streets assaulting Trump supporters. And then we kind of got in the middle between them and these groups, and we protected Trump supporters. So, but I'd say that 90% of my membership has never been to a rally. They've never done security for a rally. All they've done is the most political thing that they've done.
Right? Security. Security is your background?
Yes, I was a DoD contractor for 12 years of my life.
Okay.
So when I took the reins, obviously I'm very political. So we moved in a more political direction at the time.
Yeah.
And we continued to do so all throughout, probably till like about 2022. I think after the arrest, the guys kind of stopped doing the rallies because they were afraid of obviously getting hemmed up in anything. They saw me, that I wasn't even present on January 6th, get arrested. So that kind of slowed down. They still, during that time, they still protested Drag Queen Story Hour, and they still got into the school board stuff, and they still got elected to local office. And they're still doing so today. So that transition through time, it depends on what's going on in the culture. We're not a political group. We don't care what race you are. We don't care what your culture is, what your religion is. We don't care about that.
Just to step in. I want to hear more about that, because every single person that I would talk to would tell me that they were not a racist group because they have a black guy who's running it. That was you.
I mean,
and I would always look at this.
If that was the thing that they said, but yeah, go ahead.
I would look at this. I mean, but this is how the perspective is outside, right? From whatever you guys are doing, from drinking club to the fights, which I want to remind you that most of America was Antifa back in World War II, being that it's anti-fascist.
I could disagree with that.
Well, I mean, that's what we did.
The name anti-fascist, I can vibe with that. I don't like fascists. I don't like communists. I don't like any ist that has to do with authority. But the name itself, if you're anti-fascist and you're sitting in the streets and you're throwing bricks at people that are just
Nazis,
much
like in Ohio just recently.
Look, I agree with you. I dislike fucking people in the streets with swastika flags or communist flags. I dislike it myself, but I respect their ability to practice their First Amendment, right?
So if
And
you do
becoming
feel
First
that
Amendment
way,
when they start throwing bricks, or in some cases get slingshots with ball bearings, or burn down Tesla dealers,
if
that
you
goes
do
to
feel
another
though
level.
about First Amendment, then I've
Yes,
heard you in past interviews talk about your dislike for drag queen story hour,
yes, I
which
do.
to me, if you don't like it, just walk away. I mean, I don't know what other way to put yourself in that situation than to, unless you're forcing yourself to watch it, if there's something that's there. But what is it that's the dislike of somebody else having their First Amendment right to
Well, that's
do that?
fine, but I could protest those events as long as I'm not throwing bricks at them. I go back to the bricks because we actually had one of our members get hit by a brick
Okay.
in the mouth and shatter his jaw.
But there were
So
members
I
of
think it's
Proud
okay
Boys
for
that were
people
at
to protest things.
Charlottesville.
What? I'm sorry.
There were Proud Boy members. I know that Proud
I
Boy itself
myself,
was not.
I myself was at Charlottesville.
You were there. We're under
Yes.
the Proud Boy umbrella?
No. So I went there to record. I had my camera equipment. I was recording. I was actually planning on going to attend the protest. Then I saw the kinds of people that were going, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to go. And then a gig came up where they paid me to record. And I went over there and I got some of my camera equipment screwed up. Funny by the same people that were wearing the khakis and white shirts.
Right.
Um,
Those are
but
called
yeah,
neo-Nazis.
I
But yeah,
could,
it's the tiki torches.
yeah.
Yep.
Well, I didn't attend the Tiki Torch event. But for the most part, yes, I was there and I saw disgust on both sides. I saw the police sit back idly. I seen people try to stab each other with a police officer about 10 feet away, and the cop didn't even get involved. Um, I got called the N-word by a woman on the left side. Um, just about 5 minutes before she passed. Her name was Heather Hare, and she called me an N-word and she called me a coon.
Well, I highly doubt that.
I got
But
it
I
on
wasn't
video,
there.
and
You have it on video?
I'll send you guys the video. I promise you that she
Send on the
did
video.
call me. Yes, I will send it to you.
So my question is, if you're so about pro First Amendment and you think that the Nazis should be able to fly their flags, then why did you rip a Black Lives Matter flag off a church? If you're so pro First Amendment,
I did not rip it off a church, and I would never advocate for anybody to rip anything off a church. I saw a Black Lives Matter sign on the ground, and I burned it.
So the thing that I
was
got
also in the court transcripts when.
So you went to jail for how many months for that?
About
for just burning a sign that was already on the ground?
5 months. Yeah, welcome to DC.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you would expect that if you're going to DC. You should know it's the U.S. Capital.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And it's going to be a little bit more.
The laws there are pretty strict. The laws there are pretty strict.
It's not, you're not going to be in backwoods of Virginia. You're not going to be in any of these areas that are rural.
I mean, would you agree? I think you would agree with me. Look, as distasteful as I find somebody burning an American flag, right? You would agree that's protected speech, right? In the Supreme Court, actually. Would you agree with that?
I would agree that, yeah, if it's your own flag. Yes. If you purchased it and you brought it and you put it on the ground and you burned it. Yeah, absolutely.
So
but if you ripped it off someone's floor, or, if you ripped off someone's home and then threw it on the ground,
you shouldn't rip anything off. I think everybody could agree here. You shouldn't rip anything off of people's property, including the church.
I find it interesting that this church, there's a historical Black church that was vandalized. Yes. What they have you for? Mm-hmm. They won the title, Proud Boys. They now own the copyright.
They did not win the title.
So
let me clear the air a little bit.
Royalties on Proud Boys.
Let's clear the air a little bit on that, because when you read up on it, that banner that I burned, did not come from the AME church that you're talking about. Those are two separate instances. The banner that I burned came from what's called the Asbury Church. Again, I say I didn't know it came off a church. The banner said Black Lives Matter, and in the very corner it said asbury.com. It didn't have any markings besides that. And then there was another banner that was ripped off at Black Lives Matter that came off the AME church, and that's the one that I got sued for, along with the Proud Boys. But the interesting story is the next story that you asked is about the lawsuit. So
that's correct. Yeah.
Yes. So that lawsuit we never really owned our own trademark. And actually a left-wing group out of California was the ones that took that trademark. So the judge physically took it away from that group and gave it to the church. Now, we are not a very organized organization, so there's nothing, absolutely nothing that church can do to us. When it comes to the name, they can't take down anything. They can't take down, we don't sell Proud Boys merchandise to the public.
Okay.
Right? We give it to our members
by raising funds to buy shirts made, whatever.
Well, no, we have different members that own t-shirt shops, and they print the shirts and they give away the shirts to some members, but we never sell it. So the problem would be, I guess, in selling it. So that's usually where the copyright comes lawsuit and the trademark, them taking the trademark affects us at all? Absolutely not.
So you guys cannot be given a cease and desist letter because you guys do not actually own the copyright of this
brand. We've never really owned. What ended up happening with that is our old attorney, he created a corporation called, I think it was Proud Boys International LLC, and he put the trademark under that name, and then we said that we don't want the trademark, leave it to the public and let somebody else take it. And they did, and a left-wing group took it, and the judge took it from that left-wing group.
How did you guys pick that name from a gay Jew who wrote that song for Aladdin's musical?
So everything in our organization is really just like, it's about funny, right? So Proud Boys is, like you said, it came from a Aladdin musical, and if you've ever heard it, it's kind of gay. And then we say Uhuru, which is Swahili for freedom. And we took that from the Uhuru Solidarity Movement that's out of Tampa. And it's the guy who runs it is, if I'm not mistaken, he is a handicapped transsexual African-American that pushes for communism. So everything that we pick up, the punching each other till you name 5 breakfast cereals, we don't take ourselves as seriously as the public takes us. We actually enjoy the brotherhood because it's funny. Obviously, a lot of people take it a little bit too seriously, like Ryan over there that's been quiet for such a long time.
Because
for the most part,
because you're just lying about so much shit. It's like,
what am I lying?
I would be fact checking you the whole time.
No, but go ahead.
Ryan does have an outline. I think that Ryan does have some questions because there is an outline that we have.
I mean, honestly, I think the only thing at this point I'm really interested in talking to you about is the Ashli Babbitt thing. I think everything else is bullshit at this point. So, you got anything else, Ian? I mean,
Ginni
Thomas.
My biggest thing is that when I look at your record, when I look at everything that happened, and I look at January 6th and everybody who was prosecuted.
Yes.
You know, you can say that the system is blind and everything, but
I never said
part of you. Well, I know you did not. I'm not putting words in your mouth. No, you're here, so I don't have to put words in your mouth.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I looked at this is that when I looked at the convictions, you have Jessica Watkins got 8.5. Dominic, he got 10. Thomas, he got 10 for assaulting a police officer.
Yes.
DJ Rodriguez, 12, assaulting a police officer. Kelly Meggs, 12. That was for the same as you. Peter Schwartz, he got 14, and that was for assaulting a police officer.
Yes.
Zachary, he got 15. Joseph Biggs, 17. Stuart Rhodes, 18. You, 22 years.
Ethan Nordine, 18. And then you had David Dempsey at 20, and then me at 22 years.
You had 22.
Yes.
You're the only brother on here that got the most time.
I won't disagree with you there. The brother got more time than anybody. But I also there is a difference between. I guess if you want to compare apples to apples, Stuart Rhodes and me, I guess we're at the same level. But I do have a criminal record. That's what gave me the extra 4 years.
But you being an FBI informant didn't give you good behavior?
No, that wasn't that issue was in 2013.
I know that was, but it's still
you don't get good behavior at that point. No, It's for the case that's at hand.
Only for that situation.
Yes.
I find it interesting because I'm sitting here listening to you, and there are parts that are long-winded in your answers, and some of it does feel like fluff, to be honest.
Which one? You could fact check me as I go. Which part?
Some of it I have. Some of it I have, and I listened to some of your past interviews,
yes.
And I definitely put some of your answers through AI to see what's going on.
Okay.
And it was interesting what came out of it because you did a show when you first got out, a conservative network. You were very comfortable with this lady talking about it. And you said that there was no FBI informants that actually went to your trial when there was less than 15 that showed up to talk about your case, to actually put you in jail.
No,
and then
that's incorrect.
When you talk about, I want you to read.
That's the problem. When there wasn't any FBI informants, we called the FBI informants. The prosecutors did not call any because all of the ones that they had said that there was no plan. So they didn't want to bring that up in front of jury trial. So what we did is, you're not going to bring them, we'll bring them. And we actually brought one. And one of those FBI informants is a professional informant. By professional, I mean, he's been doing it for 10 years and he infiltrates groups. And this gentleman, after saying that he did not see any plan to storm the Capitol, he was a person that was key to a certain breach that happened. And he physically stopped a gate from closing while the police officers were trying to close it. And this person was paid to do that. And he was informing while he was there. So if you check the records on that, there's absolutely not one FBI informant that was an informant at the time that came to trial on the prosecutor's side.
I find it interesting that I found that differently in your case. But also Jeremy testified against you.
Yes.
Are you guys still friends?
Absolutely not. Now, Jeremy got interviewed by the FBI 3 times.
Yeah.
When he got arrested, he waited a little bit, I think 2 or 3 weeks, and he went into an interview with the FBI, and he said that there was absolutely no plan to storm the Capitol at all.
Yeah.
The second interview, he said the same thing. On the second one, we had a superseding indictment for sedition, which carries a 20-year sentence. On the third one, he changed his story completely. So when we brought him on the stand, that's exactly what he said. He said that he had to change his story. Obviously, he's not going to say that he changed his story because of the pressure. He said that he changed his story because he felt like he had to say the truth.
Right.
No, when you tighten somebody's screws and you tell them, I'm going to give you fucking 20 years, right? They think about themselves, right? They don't think about anybody else. And they
always find the weakest one in there, which we all know.
I'm sorry?
They always find the weakest one, which we all know.
Yes. And they
make them crack.
Yeah. And I'm not blind to this. This happens to non-political people all the time. That's how the government makes these cases. That's how they create a conspiracy. I believe that there shouldn't be a conspiracy laws in the United States, period. I think that whether it's they have this thing called ghost dope. I don't know if you ever heard about it. And you don't have to, the dope never has to exist. Right. So if your buddy is trying to sell 10 kilos of meth, and you happen to take him, and you're taking him to take this deal, but he doesn't have the meth yet, you're charged with 10 kilograms of meth that never existed.
Right. Well, it was only in theory, but it's there. Yeah. But this is the thing where, you have to look back at our history where we had a civil war. And so these laws are in place for a reason. So when you're looking at an uprising, because you honestly do believe that the election was stolen in 2020, even though it went through the system, it had federal and state judges who dismissed more than 50 of those cases. 14 of those were withdrawn from Trump himself, his crew, his lawyers. So when you're looking at the legal side of this, that it went through the courts and it kept failing left and right. And the only people who sat here believing were you, a vampire that looked like Count Chocula, who had the dripping sideburns in front of a lawn store. You had all the people in Georgia who really tried to lean on this, but it was none of the people who actually were serious. And you're right about taking you serious or taking people serious. I think it's actually the opposite. People on the left don't take you guys serious because we watched how you guys fumbled the ball every step of the way legally. but we were very interested to see how you guys physically showed up. And I actually want to give you a lot of credit because you said that you guys are just a whole bunch of just kind of rowdy guys who just kind of aimlessly do whatever. But you literally brought that many people. You reached out to your crew, reached out to your ranks. You brought everybody to DC. You guys brought that whole movement of Stop the Steal. I don't know if you believe in fate. I don't know if that black church actually saved you from a worse situation. I don't know if they would have pegged you.
Well, they didn't.
I think that was the day that you found out that you were black in America because you got the worst case situation. And it's everybody has that coming to Jesus moment where to me, I'm like, I can't believe that you're standing here being the face of white nationalism because everybody knows and sees where Elon Musk is doing a Heil Hitler, a Sieg Heil in front of everybody, not once, but twice. And for people to sit there and to say that it didn't happen, especially to come from your camp, I find it very off-putting that you, who I believe identifies as Afro-Cuban?
I identify as Cuban, yes.
As Cuban.
I have African
not
roots.
Afro. So you don't
I have, no, I'm just saying when you ask a Cuban, if they're Cuban, they say Cuban. The Afro-Cuban thing is a white thing that people add to the Cuban.
I don't think that's true at all. I think that's more so if you guys got dropped off first. That's all it is, coming to America.
I mean,
when there's things that you look at.
If you had a Cuban here, they wouldn't go, I'm not Afro-Cuban, I'm just Cuban.
Well, there is a movement of Afro-Cuban, but I thought it was interesting because it was more so of a left ideology. It was more so of reaching out for indigenous people. So, I mean, there is an idea behind it of why there's that blackness, that proud idea. But if you're Cuban and that's it, that's how you identify. I mean, more power to you. It's one of those things that I really look at where I'm trying to better understand the situation of how you could be radicalized from getting in trouble from selling, medical devices and getting caught with the FBI, becoming an informant, to then here we are running the Proud Boys, which had this distaste in its mouth of being a white supremacy, a white nationalist. I mean, when you're seeing these Nazis show up in Ohio, there's a company, but there is a militia.
Nazis showing up in Ohio.
You would have to look it up because in Lincoln Heights, they were sitting there on the freeway. And it took a lot of
the ones with the red flag with the black swastika thing,
or black flag with a red swastika, yes,
or some shit like
with a U-Haul that the police were helping. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
I think they're called like Blood Tribe. Yeah,
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, they're all over my page.
I could only tell you that they ran like little bitches when people threw cans of corn.
They're almost all over my page as much as Ryan is.
In solidarity or against you?
Against me.
But they still,
and that actually makes me happy. Yeah, I mean, I'm pissing off the right people if I'm pissing off Ryan, and I'm pissing off the Nazis.
I mean, dude, I was on your page for one day, like that one interaction that led to this.
Actually, you weren't on my page for one day because I only had Twitter. You actually have multiple tweets about me throughout the years. I didn't know who.
I made tweets about you, but I wasn't on your page. I was making tweets.
I didn't
about
have a page, or else you would have been.
Well, exactly. So you just said I was on your. See, you try to get these little jabs in, and you end up making yourself look like.
It's a pretty good job. I mean, I got.
No, it really wasn't. It's pretty fucking stupid when you really look at it.
It's pretty good.
But yeah, I used to post about you all the time because I posted about all the stupid shit you did, and then you saw that those posts went viral, and then you took it and tried to get some publicity off of it. Tried to say that I would hide in an elevator from you.
You have 130,000 followers in your entire.
Yeah. Actually, more than that. If you count all my platforms, it's more like 400,000. But
well, who's counting, right? I mean,
you are clearly because you made a post about it.
I'm just.
I mean, I know nobody came here to see both of you measure dicks on this show.
Oh man,
who has more fans? But the reality is, and you guys can go at it, and I can step back. But the reality is, I definitely want to get to a bottom of a couple things.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's actually issues happening in America. My point of what I was saying to you about you actually bringing people together.
Yes,
I'm not only in a way offended, but I'm also heartbroken at the fact that you could bring that many people together, but yet you couldn't have them come together in a way where you could actually make this world a better place. And I mean that because I don't put any politician on a pedestal.
I don't either.
January 6th says something different.
By far is not a perfect person.
But see, I don't care about perfect person. You brought that many people together for January 6th to stop a steal that you guys so to your core believe. And I'm not here to litigate that. It is what it is. You were found guilty. You got out from a pardon. This is where we are in present day.
Yeah.
But the part that I look at is that we have all these school shootings. How far are you from Parkland school shooting in Miami?
I'm actually not too far. I'm about 30 minutes.
Why the fuck are you not bringing the Proud Boys to actually protect kids in schools versus trying to storm a Capitol is where I am more so.
Kids in schools, because we've done that before multiple times.
How is that not your base? How is it that Lincoln Heights Safety is literally walking around in Ohio making sure that no clown with a swastika shows up again? This is the part where I really look at somebody that may have the talent that you do have to bring people together, but you fumble it on the dumbest ideology. I don't care how you view Trump. I don't care. I don't care what his personality is, what the fuck his traits are, none of that.
So what's
the fact that you literally, the question is how you guys cannot sit and mobilize to actually put that towards stopping school shootings. Well, you guys cosplay as militia. You cosplay as veterans.
Okay, so hold on. So first and foremost, I'm pretty sure that like a citizen group isn't going to sit there all day and protect schools, right? Law enforcement
shifts. We're seeing it right now in Ohio. They're doing it as we speak.
They're sitting there, they're not doing them from Nazi flags, and by all means,
no, they're walking them to school. Whatever. They're protecting them in all fronts. They're making sure that
those are things that we've done, and we do it. We actually do it at a different level. We do it at the school board level, and as a matter of fact, we've done it here. We've changed the entire school board.
That's called Moms for Liberty, and that's not you.
And super majority. Well, can you take a look at where Moms for Liberty were down here and who was protecting them and who was speaking at the Miami-Dade School Board? Because I've spoken at it twice.
Moms for Liberty are a offshoot abortion of what the Sisters of the Confederacy are, and they are not good for this country.
Well, we'll agree to disagree. But if you're asking me what I feel is good and what you feel is good, it's obviously two different things. So obviously, I'm going to focus on what I feel is going to change the country, and we have made change. So the difference is that in the city that I live in, right, we've changed the city council, we've changed the mayor, and we're about to change them again. We have changed the school board, and we have a supermajority in every aspect of government here in the city of Miami that is predominantly Latin, predominantly Cuban, actually probably one of the most Latino big cities in America. So yes, we disagree with what we should stand for, but to say that we're not doing it is an outright lie. We're doing it. You don't agree with what we're doing.
No. It's not agreeing or disagreeing with that. I'm not seeing you guys on the ground
are bad. I think everybody across the board, everybody in here, including on that chat on the right, can agree that school shootings aren't good. Now we disagree on what the problem is. It's not gun legislation, and it's not the type of gun. You want me to tell you? And I haven't brought up new statistics, but I'll bring up an older statistic right now. And at the time, I would say this: there was, I think it was 2020. There was 27 mass shootings. You know what 25 of them had in common? Fatherless homes.
There were like 700 mass shootings that year.
I'm talking about the 27 past.
Yeah, just the ones that apply to your agenda, but you're overlooking the other 550.
I mean, you want to take a look at it? Can you pull up the statistics? Pull that up, please.
Can you show us the video?
I will show you the statistics right now. I have it right here in front of me.
No, so can you show us the video that you said you had that of the woman calling you? Yes, you did.
Oh, what video? Go ahead.
Everybody in the comments is asking for that video you said you had. I mean, if we got time to pull stuff up, that's what everybody wants to see.
Yeah, I'll take it for it. You got it? Okay. I'll have him look for the video right now. It's give me a second.
All right. Well, I'm going to move on to the Ashli Babbitt stuff.
You still hear me right now?
And let's go ahead and take a look at this because you and I disagree on Ashli Babbitt. I think she got what she had coming to her that day, and you don't. So I want to take a look at the videos so that we can all have an educated discussion about what went down.
Yeah, go ahead.
So that cuts right before he pulls the trigger. I don't know if you heard how many times they said, "Oh, look, a gun," or how long he was standing there pointing it at the window as they're beating it in after they had barricaded it with furniture, as Congress was literally leaving the chamber right behind him, might I add. So my question to you is, how do you watch that video and somehow think Ashli Babbitt that Michael Byrd wasn't doing his job that day?
I'm going to tell you very simple. If you're advocating for the shooting of an unarmed 120-pound woman with no firearms, no weapons in her hand, and then you go ahead and you call out other police shootings, because I could say, hey, look, these police shootings are wrong right when I see them without a problem. Then you have a problem with
false equivalencies, though.
It's not. Did she have a weapon in her hand?
Well, let's watch this next part. Let's watch this.
Go! Bust it down!
Let me ask.
As you can see there, she has this stuffed red backpack on. Now, you did security for the DOD for 12 years. So when you're doing threat identification like we do in the military, I'm just wondering, what would you identify that as? What's that?
You had the video still on the screen.
So what would you identify that overstuffed backpack as in a threat assessment?
In a threat assessment, I would see that she's a 120-pound woman.
Bullshit.
It doesn't deserve to get shot in the neck.
Bullshit. It was in her shoulder, by the way.
It's not bullshit, dude. Like,
it is bullshit.
How do you advocate for, like, that's fine. Look, I could tell you, if you could show me a police shooting, I could tell you, hey, this was wrong. That was wrong. Right? When you go ahead, and the only reason that you're advocating for,
you're claiming that she's unarmed. You don't know that she was unarmed.
Championing, and you know what? You're in your right to do so. I believe in free speech. The only reason that you're advocating for her death and her murder is because she's a Trump supporter. It's not because of anything else.
I think she's a dumb fuck for being a Trump supporter, but she's also a veteran that took an oath to defend this country against enemies, foreign and domestic, and showing up on January 6th and storming the Capitol.
Guys, but everybody can hear either one of you.
See, that's the thing. He just keeps talking, and then he's going to say, "Oh, all this bullshit. I didn't talk this whole fucking time. I let you talk for 30 fucking minutes, motherfucker, and I didn't say a goddamn thing, so shut the fuck up."
You don't have to.
So here's
exactly. He wants to say that I'm fucking triggered, but that's the problem. He wants to come on here and just talk over me. So fuck him. I put him off. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say what I want to say, and then he can come back on and say what he wants to say. So I let you talk for 30 fucking minutes, and I let Ian take care of the show. And now I come up here, I show you a video, and you start talking circles and talking around me, but you can't answer a very simple question. And that is, as a DOD security person, if you were doing a threat assessment at that moment in time, and you were defending the entirety of Congress from a mass of people standing behind, all bashing windows in to try to come in, your threat assessment at that moment in time would be that that's a possible threat. You don't know what weapons are in that backpack. You have no idea. So you have to act in that moment on that premise. And by the way, for those who actually care, I'm not trying to start a call. I'm like this motherfucker. So there's actually documents on Congress. They've done a whole investigation into this and cleared Michael Byrd. It's extremely detailed and telling you exactly why Ashli Babbitt got what the fuck she deserved.
This was the nicest Ryan rant I've ever heard. I'm just going to say it. This was the nicest one.
Now you can go.
It's the nicest one.
Tarrio. So here's my question.
Hold on. I want to hit at least the last point that you said right there. So let's say the Trump administration were to start an investigation into Michael Byrd, and arrest him and indict him and put him in chains. Would you be like, oh, okay, well now, right?
No,
now
I wouldn't. Okay. And I'll tell you why. Because
obviously.
No, I wouldn't.
And then another thing that I find funny as shit, if I were to ever have you on my show, I would never mute you or take you off, no matter how much you talked. Because
well, that's you. That's not me. So I really don't give a fuck. But going back to the other thing, when they're trying to impeach, hang on, let me respond to that. When they're talking about impeaching judges that aren't following Trump's agenda, and you have to have somebody on the Supreme Court that is a Republican come out and say that no, we can't do that. That's not the right way. So then you want me to agree with the decision that particular person would make when he's trying to impeach the same judges that are supposed to protect us from him?
See, that's exactly, we'll go back to what this gentleman said over here. It's who's in power that has that power, that investigative power, that judicial power, the executive branch.
That has nothing to do with what I just said, Enrique.
Oh, yes, it does. Yes, it does. I sat here and I told you that whoever's in power uses those levers in the direction that they want. And then you just said, oh, well, you know what? There was an entire investigation about what happened with Michael Byrd.
In Congress.
The Biden administration.
Which, of course, you're not going to abide. You're not going to pay attention to simply because who was in power at the time. But Biden wasn't trying to impeach judges.
I just want to confirm.
Go ahead.
Someone breaks into your house to Tarrio. You're not pulling the trigger. You're not using your Second Amendment right. You're not going to do this thing where you don't know what this person has, regardless of her weight, 100 and something plus or whatever.
So
I just think it's a very weak argument that you're making.
The property rights and the right and what a police officer does, right, are two different things. If somebody were to tread on my property, not a government building, not with a police officer that has a code to go by, then it's completely different. Here in Florida, there's a law called Stand Your Ground.
Stand Your Ground. I know it very well. You guys took out Trayvon Martin because you guys are punk ass bitches. But without that said, you had a security guard, regardless of whatever his stature is, whatever his position was, who was literally protecting actual congressmen and women behind the other doors. And his job was
to shoot a 120-pound woman?
Hey, if that's the one who wanted to be brave that day, apparently it was. And maybe she's the one who got the worst sentence out of all of you. She got life. And the reality is, and she died the way that she lived, an idiot. Because when you look at the situation, you have a man pointing a gun at you. Why would you want to move forward? You clearly are past the barricades outside. You're clearly past the bear spraying of beating up police. You're clearly now walking through those sections, which I agree with you. At a certain point, they did let you in. But at that door, they were not letting you in. And you were in a hotel because of your situation. And these people were there. And you can't really, you are only speaking as a person who is an audience member like us, because you were not there to see the actual situation. So I know your talking point. I know that you're saying that we wouldn't do it, or we're only going to choose that because she is a Trump supporter. That's incorrect. We saw somebody there that was literally trying to force their way through a barricade door, and she got what she got because she did not follow commands. All you guys ever say is, if you would have just listened to what the police officers' instructions are. Plain and simple. It's one of those things where he did not know what she had, and his job was, do not let anybody pass this door. Now, at a certain point, when the coast was clear because all the congressmen got out, you guys always leave that part out of it. All the congressmen, especially the ones that were running, the Republicans who wanted to act brave in front of you guys while they were walking by with all the security, but then the moment they heard you guys breached, they were running like little bitches in there. The reality was, you had people like Nancy Pelosi who just got to shuffle through the hole where she had to go, and they were told, do not let anybody pass this line. If that was your job, I only see him as doing his job, regardless of whoever it was. But you can also agree, they were very understaffed. And it makes me think one thing, plain and simple, because I've heard your family members on news talk about this. I believe it was your mom who said that you were set up. You were the scapegoat. Do you believe your mom on that one? Do you think you were the scapegoat?
I am 100% believer on that one, because that's what I've been preaching for a long time.
Why were you the scapegoat?
Look, I want to touch on that subject just on a quick note. We're never going to agree here on Ashli Babbitt. It's cool to debate it. But one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to advocate for shooting 120-pound unarmed woman. So we could sit here and we can argue for this for like 2 hours.
Is it the only time that the right cares about a woman's body? Is that the only time? Is that the only time that Republicans care about a woman's body?
Is that the only time that
Republicans
go back when Democrats want to murder
babies of I'm just saying. It's the only laws that I've been hearing so far, or the only talking points about a woman.
We could get into this, but you asked me a question about the scapegoat thing, and yes. I was made a scapegoat. At the time, they didn't know how to prosecute President Trump, and they needed to make the biggest splash, the biggest PR that they could. And I was a leader of a group called the Proud Boys. I wasn't there. I didn't have access to my phone. So I didn't plan, and I'm telling you right now, I'm pardoned. So right now, if I say, you know what, I plan to storm this shit, I plan to overthrow the government, you know what, I would face no consequences because I'm pardoned.
Double jeopardy. Right.
So,
you're all set.
So they can't.
Well, is it hand signed or was it auto penned?
Ooh, if it's auto pen, you might be in trouble.
Because
you
you
might be in trouble.
1,500 of them.
You might be right about that.
Terrio,
auto pens.
I actually am. If you go,
Trump
by the way, again, I'm not trying to start a cult, people. Unlike some of these other folks, go Google it or use Chat GPT. Donald Trump used auto pen to sign the 1,500 pardon. So Enrique's pardon here under Donald Trump's current policy, his pardon is probably revoked.
So
Terrio, I really want to ask you, is this living rent free in your head right now?
How is it a falsehood? You're trying to revoke Biden's pardons.
Let me tell you something. There wasn't 1,500 pardons. There was one. There was only one pardon for 1,500 people. It only required one signature. If you
they just put it all on one page.
You know Trump can't read. Of course he did just one. We already know. We already know.
You know when he pardoned Roger Stone and his son-in-law's father, who's now
Donald Trump is going to sign
person in France,
even though he has the energy to.
No, he does not have the energy. This old fuck does not have the energy. Please stop, Terrio. I've listened to a lot of your bullshit today. That's not going to be.
Honestly,
you already laughing. Hold on, no, bring him back. Bring him back. You are not going to laugh. Hold on, bring him back. You are not. You are not.
Oh, I got his little sign to you and everything.
Look, Terrio, you're not going to just laugh that shit. You don't even believe your own bullshit, man. Look at you. And I appreciate you for laughing. Hold up. I appreciate you for laughing at your own shit.
Do me a favor. Look, so we could do this. Screen share what the pardons look like. I'll send you a link, right? Granting pardons and commutations. You could get it right on the White House website. It's only 2 pages. He only had to sign once. So you just said that he auto penned 1,500 and it's actually 1,600 pardons. That's a falsehood.
It's not,
and you said, "Oh, you can Google it." You didn't even Google it.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
If
I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But you know what? You're a pardoned piece of shit criminal, so I really don't give a fuck.
At least thank you. You said you
know
were
what,
wrong.
dude? Have a nice day. You're as big a piece of shit as I thought you'd be. Thank you.
Here's my biggest thing, because this is you're literally trying to nitpick on something where it's like,
I'm not.
He literally you are though.
Come on, Terrio.
I see you trying to egg him on, and I get it. This is your job.
Right.
It's your Wednesday night.
I admit,
this is your hump day. I get it. So just calling out the bullshit. Here's my thing. Is it living rent free right now in your head that another administration could come in here and they could pull this same stunt and lock you into a whole bunch of legal bullshit where you literally will have to fight for your life in the court system, which will drown you financially? And it will put you in a situation, regardless if you see another jail cell, you will be in and out of courts for a long time.
Yes, if another administration comes in, it flip-flops. So we could agree that the problem is that there's too many laws in this country. There's too many laws to put people in chains and too many laws to put people in concrete coffins. So I don't get the face right now.
My brother,
I don't get
about slavery.
I'm advocating for criminal justice reform, and you guys are giving me a face. I'm telling you that there's too many people locked up for either crap that they didn't do, or there's too many people locked up, right, for the justice system that just keeps them there.
Okay,
I just don't know if
hang on. Justice system that they should. They're there for re-entry, simply crossing the border, right? Crossing the border. And I vibe with crossing the border.
Breaking the law. Crossing the border is not breaking the law.
They didn't commit any crime, and they're sitting there for 5 years.
So let me ask you a question then.
Just deport them.
So let me ask you a question then.
Deport them instantly. Why are we keeping them?
Can you shut the fuck up for a second and let me ask you a goddamn question?
Go ahead. I know that you like talking.
Me, I haven't talked fucking at all.
Ryan,
you haven't shut up.
Man. Ryan,
ask the question. Keep going, man.
No, I'm good.
Oh,
you good, bro?
No, we're not good. So Ryan,
who's the faggot in the background?
He's
time out.
He's my guy on the desk.
No, come on. Have him show his face. Come on around.
You guys.
Is he wearing sunglasses like you?
I'm looking at two grown men and clearly the gay ghost in the back. Whatever the case is, I really want to say to you guys.
Hey, you guys shouldn't use gay as an insult.
Oh, I'm sorry. You've only done it 5 times in this episode.
I mean,
you guys, here's the biggest thing. I'm looking at that you really did do the song and dance throughout most of the show. And I know that you really wanted to egg Ryan on. I know you did. Don't act brand new. Don't act brand new. I could see through the bullshit. Yeah, but the biggest thing is that I look at this is that when I look at your situation, your resume.
Yes.
You went from an FBI informant to now a pardoned seditious conspirator.
Yes.
What's Tarrio 2.0 looking like? Because you literally gave your body for this, and you got left out by the orange fat fuck. And I'm not trying to be JD Vance.
Pardon me.
I'm not trying to be the bitches JD and Trump and double team you. We're not going to make you look as dope as Vladimir. But the thing is that I look at this and I look at your situation. What is 2.0 you moving forward?
You're going to see a more aggressive me. You're going to see somebody that's going to use the system to get those that put in power, that put us in chains and put us in a concrete coffin. And I am going to advocate for each one of them for the same thing to happen. And the fact that I could still tell you that the problem is that you can put somebody in prison for anything. So I am going to use that system and I am going to weaponize it. I'm going to use my voice. I'm going to use this brand new bullhorn that was given to me to do that. Because when you do what you did to me and you do what you did to my family, I don't
no self-reflection of that. It may be because of some of your consequences. Like,
there's no forgiveness on that. So I'm going to advocate to put those.
You have your own revenge story,
motherfuckers.
is what you're saying. You have your own retribution that you're going after.
That is correct.
Okay.
Is there any? I want to be clear. I'm not asking for violent retribution. I'm going to use the system.
Right now, your resume says otherwise. Just saying.
I mean, the fact that you just grabbed a woman's cell phone and threw it the other day, getting physical, proves that you're a lying piece of shit. So look forward to that. As somebody that just got a pardon, I don't know why you're so hell bent on going back to prison so fucking
fast.
Andy
dropped the case today, by the way. Since you want to.
Here's my question for you. You claim to be like the fall guy. Let me ask you this: how many times have you been to jail or prison?
I've been to jail. I was a troubled little kid. The first time I went to jail.
Just answer the question. How many times have you been to jail?
I was throwing tear gas at police officers in 1999 as a 14-year-old.
Okay.
I stole a shit ton of motorcycles and cars when I was in my late teens.
Okay.
Okay. I got my shit together. Right. I started doing security. Then I started contracting as a security contractor for the DOD.
You committed fraud.
I admitted it to the judge that yes, I did.
Okay.
Listen, I'm completely open about all this. So yes, I screwed up again in 2013, right? And I sold diabetic test strips without a license. That's what started the whole thing. When I burned that BLM banner and I found out it came from a church, right? I sat in front of the judge and I said, yes, I did it.
You did.
And I had no problem doing that. So when they came and they got me for sedition, I did the right thing and I went to trial because I was innocent of those charges. Now, if celebrating the events of January 6th was a crime, which it's not, then I'd be guilty of that. But I am not guilty of attempting to overthrow the U.S. government by force. It just didn't happen.
They didn't have any text messages between you and anybody else organizing anything that had to do with January 6th?
How was it that you were
organizing for January 6th? Yes, but not to riot. That wasn't a thing that was.
How is it that you were tweeting during it? Do what we must be done, do it again, and then at the very end, make no mistake, we did this. How is it that you, when you did not have a phone, do that?
So as soon as I saw what was happening at the Capitol, I crossed the street to 7-Eleven and I grabbed one of those Go phones. Okay. One of those Go phones because I didn't have a phone, and I connected it to the Wi-Fi because I didn't even have a credit card at the time. I just had some cash that they gave to me, and I went and I bought it, and I didn't even have a chance to activate it. So I got on there, I signed on to my Parler account, and yes, I said, do what must be done. I was cheering on my team.
Do you have any relationship with Ginni Thomas or Roger Stone?
With Roger Stone, with Ginni Thomas, I'm not sure who that is.
That's the Supreme Court Justice's wife.
No, I have no contact with her at all.
Now, they both were doing the same exact thing as you. They were bringing people together. Ginni Thomas was literally funding buses, loads of people to January 6th. I'm a little shocked that you don't know the power players that are literally on your team who believed in Stop the Steal. She was right there. She was. I
didn't remember. To be honest, I didn't remember the name. That's about it. Now that you told me who she is, I know who she is. Yeah, but I had no contact with her. Regardless.
The biggest thing that I really wonder is because when you say you're a scapegoat, and you do play a victim really well, but when you say you're a scapegoat, I look at this and I really wonder, why is it that they did not face the same consequences? Maybe it is bank account, maybe it's their connections, but I'm really trying to understand how you were thrown to the wolves And then even now with this Trump, 2.0 with his own little redemption story, is there any view of you being in his administration at all?
Okay, so let me answer the first part of that question. They were definitely gunning for both of them. I think that what stopped them from arresting Roger Stone and Ginni Thomas at the time is probably Trump winning in November.
No, that's not true at all.
Yeah, no, it's 100%.
She was brought in for questioning and she was let go.
Ginni Thomas thing, I could tell you for Roger Stone, they were definitely gunning for. I know from personal experience that they were gunning for him. And I think that what stopped them was the election of Donald J. Trump. And then what was the second part of the question?
You being thrown to the wolves and you being left out of the Trump administration. Is there any movement with you joining the Trump administration?
There's absolutely no movement with me joining the Trump administration. I mean, you might see, this won't be the show that I'll say it on, but you might see me somewhere in the political spectrum in some type of office at some point soon.
Local government, or would you want to go for national?
I'll keep that off the record right now.
Okay. All right. I appreciate your transparency on that.
Yeah. So because the only way to enact change is from within, and that's I've been teaching the guys that's why we took over, and this you can Google. That's why we took over the local Miami REC, the Republican Executive Committee. That's why people that think like us and friends of ours have taken over the local school board. That's why you're going to see the mayor seat change now in December. And I think Florida is the blueprint of what we should do across the country. And I think that getting involved, and I advocate for people on my side that are watching this, knock on doors for your local politician, get involved. And if you think that you can run, it's very easy to win.
With ICE making a lot of mistakes right now with grabbing Americans and doing a couple of things, do you actually walk around a little more cautious that you might get picked up?
Well, for one, I'm a U.S. citizen.
That means nothing right now with what we're seeing.
That's bluster.
No, they've grabbed a couple. They grabbed a mother who was a U.S. citizen. They grabbed a couple people who are Puerto Rican. They grabbed anybody who spoke Spanish out in public. I'm only asking. I'm not looking at a got you question. I'm actually asking you a serious question.
I think ICE is doing a fantabulous job. I think actually, you know what? I'm not going to say they're doing a fantabulous.
They just wasted 16 million.
Yeah, and I think that right now, I think our numbers are immigration. How are immigration numbers right now? Lowest in decades right now. I don't think that they're deporting enough. I think that they have to ramp those numbers up. I think right now, DHS and Mr. Holman they're doing a pretty good job. I think that
the borders are. I find it really interesting because we've wasted so much money with all of the stunts that have been used with the military flights, which they have to now cancel because clearly it got out of hand budget wise. High numbers.
Well, we could do it.
Clearly, Doge is not doing its part. The stunt is over, and now they went back to what ICE is normally doing and doing those flights. But with that said, have you spent some time now that you've been out for this long to look at any media to start digesting what policies are actually being implemented? Because I'm just trying to better understand what you're fighting for.
I'm starting to dive into it a little bit more. Again, I've been focused on family for the past 2 months, not really media.
I can respect that.
Building my shop back up, my podcast that's coming in. So maybe Ryan would be nice enough to have me on again, and we could discuss policy.
That's probably not happening.
Yeah, it's probably not happening. I agree. Ryan, don't you want to come on my show, bro? We'll have you in studio.
Honestly, I didn't think you'd be so full of shit, honestly.
And there's no elevators for you to run to here.
Oh, good one, buddy. Yeah, good one, buddy. Like I said,
I know everybody wants to go at it.
You spent the whole episode trying to egg me on, which is fine. You know, it works well because part of my show is Ryan Rants, where I cuss and I lose my shit. So it plays into my show's brand as it is. Well, you know, I must be because I got a hell of a lot bigger following than you. So with that, I'm not really surprised you spent the whole episode basically talking around everything. You wouldn't really answer any direct questions. You tried to explain things away with things that weren't really relevant. So yeah, it's kind of turned into what I thought it would be. So you got anything, Ian?
No, I have to say my highlight was learning more about the musical. What the Proud Boys are.
It was, I mean, Aladdin is a great. I'm a fan of musicals. I think Into the Woods is probably the best musical ever made. But the Aladdin musical is pretty good too.
Okay, great.
It's one of those that
thanks
you
for
really
joining
don't
the show, man. We're done talking about that. So, fuck.
Well, Ryan,
That
you
was
wanted it.
I did, and fucking Christ.
You wanted it. Guys,
that was worse than I thought.
I hope you enjoyed watching Ryan and Tarrio go at it. Real name Henry.
I bit my tongue for a majority of the time, thank you.
I could see the Ryan rant. It's if people had the bubbles of what they're thinking above, I could see your Ryan rant.
Oh, it was
formulating up above.
Yeah, it was there.
It was there. It was there. I even text you off show. Do you want to go do a Ryan rant? What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Yeah. So no, but hey, thanks for coming on. I don't even know what to say to most of what he said.
I will say to you that there was a lot of spin that took place.
A ton of spin.
We can use another show to really break down what we witnessed here. If you want to take some time to deduce what we just,
I think I'm
everybody
done
just
giving
digested.
him time, but
what I will say to you is that a number of things that I did fact check with him. I know where he stands, but he definitely came on here, as I knew, to spin you up, and that was very evident that he knew how to just murmur under you the entire time, which that audio sounds like shit. And me, as sitting on the sidelines, I couldn't understand. So I already know the fans also could not understand.
Yep. But I mean, again, you're coming on, you're talking to an actual veteran, who's decorated, who worked in the federal government, an aircraft engineer. Like, this he's a fucking loser. He's a piece of shit. He's trying to go around and use anybody he can to get some name for himself. And he uses the same old talking points to excuse his ignorance. Oh, well, I just got out of prison. Oh, I've been spending time with family, but I've been going around doing all these podcasts too. Like, come on, dude. There was just so much hypocrisy and bullshit. Yeah. And the minute I had him on the Ashli Babbitt thing was the backpack.
Right.
Like, dude, the minute you see that backpack, it's a threat. Anybody that does threat assessment would tell you that's a potential threat.
Yeah.
You take it that way. Like, that's what I mean. It's like, oh, you want to have a conversation about policies? Bro, we asked you what was one positive policy that Donald Trump has. He couldn't answer it. He started talking around it. So it's like, you want to have a conversation about policy, yet you can't bring up one policy. You don't want to talk about policy. You want to spin me up. You want to get me pissed off. And by the way, I'm a veteran. I took an oath to defend our country against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Right.
He's a fucking domestic terrorist. So
and I don't see you storming the Capitol, regardless of your weight or gender.
No.
Yeah.
You're not going to catch me storming the Capitol.
I think it's a really odd argument to make of her size, and I've seen him make it at numerous places.
A lot of people in the comments thought that was weird. Yeah.
It's from all the interviews I've watched of him, it is definitely his talking point. And it's coming from it without trying to really understand the situation and really just play the blame game. Yeah. And I am honest about this. I'm pissed. I'm pissed that the Proud Boys could be something. The fact that they can mobilize and put them together, and that they're not actually mobilizing to do something for young men, for students, for young girls to protect. But when he says they're about a bunch of rowdy boys and everything, I don't know if I want them around my kids, in that fashion.
We'll never watch Ryan again. This was sad. Bye.
Yeah, it's First Amendment. I'm glad. You don't have to say goodbye. You can just leave, girl.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have to announce it.
I don't need you to know. I find it interesting, and I do find that was really interesting to see the narcissism that was there.
Yeah, zero accountability. Zero.
Definitely played the victim on a number of things, but I told him, there's a lot of bullshit coming out of you, and he even laughed at some of his own bullshit. Mm-hmm. And when you guys, when someone tells you who they are, and he said, we're not really serious. You got to listen to that.
Yeah. Because he doesn't respect anybody. So don't show him any respect.
I mean, it's, the one thing I will say that is that I like that he said tonight was that when he first got out, his focus was his family. And I will give him that. I do appreciate that. That's one thing as Americans that we can really come together and agree on, is that we are doing this all for our families. It's just how we go about it. Even his views on drag queens, the drag story hour, the amount of time that he dropped, fag during the show, I don't really see too high.
And I
about
apologize
that.
for me dropping it. That was a moment of.
He spun you up.
Yeah,
I do not apologize for
fault.
saying the gay ghost. That is.
Well, no,
actually...
that was fine, but I actually used this. So that was my fault. No, seriously, that was my fault.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It also showing your age. When you get older, you got to stick to the same lingo that you used when you were a child. And that's how I know you're old, because you sound like Eminem. So, no, Ryan, we talked about this off show, and you asked me if I wanted to do it, and I said the one thing I said to you: know their moves.
Yeah.
And know that they're going to try to spin you up, and if, rightfully so. The moment he started talking to you, he tried.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you letting me kind of take over for a second, just because I know people came in here to hear you, and we all do. We love what your point of view is, but no one came to see that mesh. And you and I talked about it, of if that starts, how do we break that apart? Because no one, and we've done that in past shows. I've done it. It happens.
Yeah, and I mean that was really ultimately why I took him out the first time, because it's like, dude, I just let you talk. I let my partner just take the show for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, and then you're gonna talk over me and not let me make my point on my show? Like, nah, dude. Yeah. That's not how that's gonna go down.
And I gotta give you your flowers, because you definitely kept it together. I expected a Ryan.
I know you did.
I expected this many Ryan rants. I'm just gonna tell you right now. 10 Ryan rants.
Like I said, I may have had a couple moments, but I didn't let him have it the way I wanted to.
No, it was actually the nicest Ryan rant I've ever heard. It was. I'm surprised you didn't say good day.
I take that
sir.
as a compliment.
It's almost like the glove off. Good day, sir. That's kind of how that felt.
And that's what I wanted it to feel like.
Yeah.
Because I felt like everybody saw my anger for a couple of good moments, and then it just needed to be more about, all right, this guy isn't real. He's not for real. Like, he's talking about running for office. He's a joke. Like, he's gonna make money and grift just like the rest of them. He sits there and he's like, oh, Donald Trump's not a perfect person. Dude, he's a rapist. He's a convicted felon. He's a prolific business fraud. And he's an accused pedophile. You guys filleted Joe Biden over one diary page and a laptop that went through like 5 different people's hands before it ever reached any type of law enforcement. Yeah. So it's just kind of funny, the hypocrisy of, oh, he's just a flawed person. No, he's a rapist. Like, literally, court documents, rapist. Yeah. That's one of the reasons he wants to start getting rid of all the judges that don't side with him, because a lot of them are starting to side against him, and he's seeing it. So which brings hopefully the judges continue to keep Americans safe from this.
Which brings
nonsense.
us to this conversation about why Chuck Schumer did what he did. And that's actually a perfect segue into this.
Yeah.
Chuck Schumer literally went on the record saying he went with the Republicans because he sees that the only thing stopping right now the Trump administration is the courts. And if you have a federal shutdown, there is no court to stop anything. And I really thought to myself, why is the Democratic Party not getting behind that? I get the young energy, and we want to see a fight. We do want to see a fight. But guys, I'm telling you, and the whole point of this show, we have to show up at the midterms.
Yes.
There's no ands, ifs, or buts. There's no
and special elections
about world politics that we need to focus on. We need to take care of our own house before we can even talk about anybody else's house. And as you see, the black vote, we have taken a step back to watch all of you learn your lesson from this past election. Elections have consequences. This is a reality.
Oh, thank you, Elias. I'm glad you picked up on that one. He's like, oh, he's been all over my page forever. And he's like, and then when I brought it up, he's like, I've only been on there for a few months. It's like, bro, you just said like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. El Jaffe Jolly, I'm sorry if I butchered that. He said it on The View, actually, which I thought was really interesting. He's trying to do his rounds, and one of the biggest things that I really want all of our people to understand: the courts are what's winning. U.S. aid members are back to work. Yep. They're shutting down things left and right that Trump's trying to do. This is the thing. Ian's fingers are going to hurt. So it's one of those things where I really want you guys to think about the bigger picture and look about how we fight. And you know what? All of these laws that are being passed by Trump, they're affecting Trump supporters.
Yes.
If this train is going to be a train wreck, and why get in front of it?
Yeah.
Let the Republicans go ahead and smash into each other. This is what it's about to be. And yes, we are gonna hurt. We are gonna hurt. No one's saying we're not.
Yeah.
We're not. But we got to look at the bigger picture. We got to get to the midterms. And I need you guys to show up. I need you to tell your friends. I need you guys to get everybody involved. As you see with Tarrio, and this is why I wanted you guys to hear from him. This is what he's trying to do.
Yep.
He's trying to get into office. He's trying to run for things. He's trying to set in motion things that will affect your life.
Yep.
What are you going to do about it?
And if he doesn't even have enough respect to say your name correctly, do you think he actually gives a shit about you and your family?
Hey, don't even worry about it. That means I got none of that harassment bullshit. Okay, I'm just. Hey, matter of fact, pull up that shit that they did to you, because I want to see that one piece that was the Picasso that I love so much.
Oh, geez,
pull it up.
I don't know where it's at. I don't know where it's at.
It's in your phone. Pull it up right now. We're gonna wait to see this. I want you guys to see.
Oh no, dude, I don't.
I want you guys to see the level of trolls Ryan has. I wish I had trolls like that. Pull it up right now.
I don't, dude. I seriously don't have it.
Ryan, it is in our text message, and I will literally bring it to you right
now.
Bring
it to you. Bring it.
Don't you dare mess with me. When I tell you guys that Ryan has the best trolls, give me a second, because now I'm getting hot. I'm getting hot over here. I absolutely love this.
He's got two now that he loves of me. That
one of them is my caller ID whenever he calls, and my son was like, "Daddy, who's that?" And I go, "I don't even know, but you know what? We're going to talk to Ryan."
Oh, I will say it was very, very MAGA Jackson Pollock-y.
Oh man, you pissed off Picasso.
I think one day it might end up in a frame.
It's between this and another one that is.
Hey, but while he's looking, who said that? Somebody said it. Where is it? Yeah, definitely want to give you your flowers tonight too, especially for taking the helm there for most of the show and really giving it to him and keeping us headed in the right direction and not letting me go too far off track. So appreciate you, brother. That's why we're partners.
Hey man, hey, yin and yang, brother, yin and yang. I said let the
wheels fall off.
Step in real quick. Let the black side. Matter of fact, what y'all don't realize is I made sure I brought my Segregation shirt tonight. I said
I need that shirt.
We are bringing back the American flag, and we're not letting them take it. I'm just letting you know. I got my man Malcolm X and I got Martin Luther King on this shirt. I text you the picture, and I want you to put that up there because I want you guys to know the level of trolls that Ryan has. I'm thankful. I don't get bothered. I get random spam calls now, which is hilarious. I got a spam call today, which I think is hilarious. But
I'm getting a ton lately.
Post this right now. This is, guys, when I tell you that Ryan is pissing off artistes, okay?
It didn't come.
I didn't even know Mega was so artistic. Where we at, Ryan?
It hasn't come through yet.
It didn't go through.
Oh, because I've got Do Not Disturb on.
Oh,
dude,
man, come on, man.
Yeah, that's why it's not coming through. Hang on, it should come through in a second.
This is everything. But when I tell you guys, and I really want you guys to just all take in this moment with me right now, Ryan texts me this kind of stuff randomly throughout the week and says, "Look what I got." And then he just waits for my rebuttal. He just waits knowing I'm going to say something to him. And I'm just like, this was classic.
Is it this one? I think it's this one.
Oh, it's everything. I don't care about the Mr. Bean one. That one's no. That's your caller ID now.
There
Look
you go.
at this. Look at this. This is art.
Look.
I would go to MoMA and go look at this.
Wait, let me take the glasses off. I got to get the right angle.
My brother.
Oh, wrong angle.
And now it just look like you have a stroke. And then boom, art. When I tell you guys that I'm actually kind of jealous. You have fans. That actually took time to make this and then send it to you. Do you know how out of your mind? Oh, the passion. This person probably wants to be inside you. Sorry, I said it.
You know, after night, I don't think they're the only one.
It's great, man. It's really great. I'm just saying. I'm amazed. So I'm glad that Tarrio just called me this guy. They didn't even know my name. And you know what? More power to him. More power. He looks like he doesn't do any research.
None.
I think the thing he kept picking up the little letter that he kept showing us was written in crayon. So I was like, okay, this is who we're dealing with, right? This is the how serious this individual is. But hey, here we are.
That was yeah. It does. It looks like one of those things like the Rorschach test. Like, what do you see?
Oh man.
I see me.
I see you all day. That literally will be your caller ID at some point. But right now I'm enjoying the Mr. Bean look.
The Mr. Bean one.
Oh, so good.
Oh, geez.
So good.
But no, seriously, thanks for taking that. Oh man, some of those answers were just so bad.
It's brutal, but expected. It was expected. And you know what? I will say this. I definitely felt that he got nervous when we talked about the pardons. And the reason why I say that is because he couldn't answer seriously with you when you said, and I don't even care. It wasn't even a Freudian slip. What you said literally was he pardoned how many blah, blah, blah. He did that. You didn't say that he did every single individual one. We all know Trump is a lazy fat fuck, and he did one signature for all of those names. Plus, he can't read. He doesn't even know what the hell he's signing. With that, all I can say to you, sorry, I apologize, buddy. I didn't. I was just trying to be cute for camera. I'm sorry, Bubba. I just scared my dog.
I honestly didn't know. I should have known better that he just did one fucking, 1 page or 2 page thing to take care of all of them.
Who cares? That's not the argument. The argument really is, and that's the thing.
But I try to be fair.
No, you fixated on the BS from him, and this is the thing. I'm going to say it to you. He didn't want to answer that because it is living rent-free in his head, and I want all of these listeners to pay attention. If Trump does get his way and he wants to go after somebody like Fauci or like Liz Cheney or whoever, you could damn sure expect that Tarrio has it coming his way.
Oh, yeah. I would hope so.
And I mean
but again, but this also goes back to Democrats having the courage to do what
we
needs
do
to
not
be done.
We're not our grandfather's party anymore.
You might want to go watch the video Jasmine Crockett just did before you go saying that. Yep.
Are you breaking news to me right now?
I'll break it off the air. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, stop right there until you see this video.
And Elias over here, Elias is talking about it. What's with the 15 FBI informants? They were informants that were actually doing their thing. And to him say that, it's one of his talking points that I watched. He was doing it during a lot of conservative podcasts. Yeah. And he's so arrogant in those podcasts where he's like, yeah, man, it was a good time. I was in box cuffs and I just, I did 27 hours wearing as a badge of honor. And I'm just like, you take no responsibility for this. But this is the thing. And I feel maybe I did him wrong because he didn't know who I was. And all I did was fixate. And you know this, Ryan. I put in hours of research to know who this person was.
Yep.
And I wanted to give him a chance to talk. And the moment that I heard the bullshit, I called it out. But the reality of it.
Can I read the text you sent me during the show to them, though?
Go read it. Put it on the air. Go ahead. Guys, I was texting him during the show.
So we were sending each other a few things back and forth, but and let me give you a little bit of context behind this. So when I first called Ian to pitch the show to him, he was very reluctant, just knowing how I am and how I respond to things. Clearly, there was based in some evidence there. But he texted me and he said he's trying to egg you on. And then it was like, ... If you want a Ryan rant, he's yours. Like he was giving me permission to go at him at about halfway through.
I just wanted you to know, man, I got your back. I'm like, go for it. If you feel like if you need to do it, do it. You know what I mean? Because we did talk about it. Do we do it? Do we not do it? Do we open up the lines? Like we talked about it. Actually, matter of fact, you guys, does anybody want to call up the show right now? And does anybody really want to say something to us about what? Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot.
I can set it up if we get people that want to call in.
You guys, if you want to call up and tell us what you thought about the show, we would love to hear from you.
Uh-oh.
Let's see what happens. I want to know if you guys want to put in your 2 cents about today's show. You could be the first caller, and that would be, well, second, because Jen was the first caller.
Did I tell you? Jen popped her head in?
You did not tell me. I knew that was coded language, but yes.
Yeah, she popped her head in. Right when I was about to go off the rails the first time.
Yeah.
I saw the door slowly go.
I feel it spun up. It's like, it was everything.
It was
I kind of
beautiful.
want Angry Bunny. Is she a shy type? Angry Bunny, do you want to call
Angry
up
Bunny
the show?
shy? No.
Is she the shy? I'm trying to egg her on, man. I'm trying to, it's called reverse psychiatry.
Yeah, no. Angry Bunny's good.
Can you post the number for our show so people can hear it?
1-900 hold Ryan's mic.
Guys, do not call that number.
I thought that was like a
porn
number.
We have twisted.
I wasn't
fans.
the only one, right?
We have very twisted fans, live to say.
I mean, if you watch our show,
it's my favorite. It's my favorite. Gil, thank you for your opinion. Appreciate it.
What did he say? You do respond like a true coward, bitch. I answered that. Like, I asked some questions he couldn't answer. What are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? That's what I mean. You MAGA people, like, you don't live in reality. Like, you're like, oh, I'm voting for the felon and the rapist, and I think he's gonna care about me. The guy that's pissing and shitting in a gold toilet, he's gonna care about me.
He's actually
like,
in a gold
Depends. Dumb.
He's actually in a gold Depends. Gold lace Depends. Okay. Don't ever get it twisted. He is old.
But
and
again,
dumb.
It goes back to the funniest part was, you want to know, I was ready for everything he said. What set me off, and it's stupid as it is.
We're watching tape again, boy. I'm going to rewatch that moment.
Oh, I know you are. You're going to be sending me clips.
Oh, I am.
But
right
what
here
set me
at
off,
3 minutes and 10 seconds. Boop.
But what pissed me off was Kamala.
Yeah.
Because, okay, you're doing it on purpose. You're making some bullshit excuses to why you don't have to say it correctly. Like, you can say it correctly if you want to. You're just choosing not to because you know it pisses us off, spins us up, because your whole agenda and your whole life and your whole identity is literally owning the libs. That's it. You don't, like I said, tell us one Trump policy that is positive after he just said he supports all of his his positive, strong policies. Yeah. And the answer is, oh, well, I just got out of jail, so I don't know much about what's going on.
Yeah.
What?
It's everything I expect from. It's concepts of a show, right? Concepts of show, concepts of an idea of, you know what I mean? Concepts of his own seriousness, right? So put the number out there, Ryan. What's the number?
Hang on, look. I gotta hook up the iPad. All right, talk to him for a second. So I gotta mute my mic so I don't make a crap ton of noise.
You gonna mute that mic? Guys, I really do want your opinion, because I lived it. I was here. I witnessed. I reached out to Ryan. What did you see? That's what I want to know. What did you hear? Is something that stood out to you that you felt was like completely off, good or bad? Do you feel like we didn't show up and do our part? I really want to know. You guys make this show a better place. We clearly are building a community. And I'm not even disregarding a lot of the conservatives that may have been here to see Tarrio. One of the biggest things that really got me was this Lincoln Society. Is it Lincoln Society? Lincoln Heights Society or Safety. This is the group that is now walking around as a black militia that is protecting its own community. This is the stuff that I'm seeing, and I'm watching people really trying to better a situation. And then you look at someone who's not taking themselves seriously and doing what they're doing, and it's like, what do we have here? I hear someone calling. Who is it? Ryan, you got us on mute.
I didn't answer it.
You didn't. Well, you had us on mute.
Somebody was calling, but I didn't get to it in time.
Well, call back, guys. Whoever
call
that
back.
Was, call back.
Sorry. At least it's working.
It's working. Who wants to be the first fan to reach out and let us know about ourselves? Good or bad? I'll take either one.
It'll probably be Enrique.
You enjoyed that cat fight. I have to say, you two.
Well, again, just giving people some context, I think of setting this up and you and I talking, like we were literally fighting over what the outline was going to be, because I wanted to just, I probably would have made the whole show me just tearing this dude a new ass, but he would have talked over me the whole time, and it just would have ended with me frustratingly just telling him to go fuck himself.
And real quick, guys, the number is 520-477-2750. Again, 520-477-2750. Ryan, you and I got into a fight over this show.
Yes, we
I have
did.
to say, not only one, I think it was 3. And it was
you don't have to keep count, motherfucker. You don't have to keep count.
I'm keeping count, motherfucker. I'm keeping count. I'm the one who has to deal with this shit, okay? I haven't keeping count.
How many times did I hang up on you?
That might have been 3. You know what? I felt like Tario. You definitely were like, click. I said, he's in a mood. I really was like, right.
He's in a mood.
When I tell you guys that Ryan and I have gone back and forth and three or 4 different outlines. We even talked about an outline if Tario didn't show up. And so we really did talk about a lot of this. And I sent a lot of information to Ryan up until today about
until 20 minutes before we went on.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And it's some of those things that I felt like it was a lot of things that we should address. But we talked about everything. We got everything that was on the outline.
Yeah, we covered everything
for the most part. Guys, call this number.
But you were really good at drilling down on the bullshit. You'd let him, like, there was 3 or 4 really good times where you let him talk himself into a corner. Yeah. That you knew exactly what he was going to respond with, and then you were like, well, what about this? And then he would just talk about something that either had nothing to do with it, or he would just spin into something that it wasn't. Mm-hmm. Like I said, there was no good faith conversation to have. I think that's
But we walked into this knowing that. You and I did. And the thing is, what I find interesting is that we literally played the game. What will he do to spin you up? And when I tell you that I sat there and I said, it was Kamala's name? That's what did it? I said, you gotta be kidding me. The name did it. The name actually did it.
It was it's the disrespect and him doing it made my ears steam, which is what made me mention it, because I let it go the first time.
Yeah.
And then he said it again, and I was like, dude, it's Kamala. Can't you just say it right? And then he's like, I don't care. I don't respect. Like, it's like, okay, well, then why do you come on a show expecting me or anybody else to respect you when you go around saying you don't?
I'm sorry. It was that moment that then he realized how to turn the knife on you.
Oh, yeah.
And when I say that to you, he was like, okay, it comes down to respect. Because he said to you, well, I'm not disrespecting you, but, I don't have any respect for them. And then he saw how you felt about that. He goes, okay.
Yep.
Let's see.
From my iPhone. Okay, it's my big brother, actually. So let's see.
Big bro's the first?
Well, technically the second. Jen was the first.
Hey, guys.
What's up, big brother?
Patrick, what's up, big bro?
Hey, good. That's an interesting show. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
To say the least.
Ryan, you did really well. I thought you were going to have a stroke, dude.
Luckily, there's a
great
mute.
Job, Ian. Great job.
Yeah, luckily there's a mute button.
That guy's like worse than a douchebag. I mean, he's like worse than a used one. That's, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, it was I don't know. Like I said, I think Ian and I kind of expected a lot of it. Like I said, I was prepared for, like the Ashli Babbitt stuff because I knew I had him. on that. But yeah, the Kamala thing, I don't know why that set me off. It was just kind of like, oh, you don't respect anybody. Okay, well then.
No. It was because you were already trying. You were expecting it.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right.
So you were right there. You were like a threat away. It's like all he had to say was, just do a smirk or something, and you boom. That's all it was.
Yep.
If it wasn't him mispronouncing her name, it would have been, hey, the sky was blue that day. No, it wasn't. It was fucking gray. It was fucking gray out,
Romeo's not dead set. Ryan, you'll need to take a shower after this show. I think Ian and I both are going to need one after this.
Yeah, you guys are going to have to deep clean both studios.
I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah.
De-louse. No, like I said, I think we got out of it what we expected to, and like I said, having Ian there to kind of take the helm there, that definitely helped. And a lot of it was
good. Yeah,
he prepped. We both prepped, but Ian really did put in the work, which was evident. I think.
I was hoping Ian would, step in. Hoping you would pause like you did, and then Ian just kind of take the reins like that.
Yeah, but again,
so you calm down and not have a stroke.
Yeah, and luckily we had talked about it. We actually have a safe word. We never had to use that. So, yeah.
Well, that's good. Don't use pineapple.
It's bubblicious. Okay, let's get it right.
Don't give it away.
Okay.
Now we got to flip it.
I know. I got to switch. Yeah, man. No, it was one of those things where immediately. Being here in New York and you see the hustle bustle, you see the bullshit. I'm not interested.
Yeah, I was sensing the bullshit right when he came on, and he's drinking and smoking, and he's got the sunglasses on. I'm like, asshole. Yeah. Dumbass,
I actually text Ryan
too. Like you're going on a show, like you're smoking and you got your sunglasses on. Like, you really expect people to take you seriously?
Yeah, he would have done better if he would have had the hat off and sunglasses free and just kind of.
I'm not gonna bash him for the hat because I cover my bald ass head, but.
I'm the only one who's proud, man. Whatever. I'm the only one.
Okay, keep the hat. Yeah.
I wear a size 8 fitted hat. When you got a head this fucking big, it just doesn't look right. It just doesn't.
Hey man, they got bobbleheads for.
Doesn't matter how you shave the beard. It just. But I tell people, I said, but that's my disguise. So when I want, I smile, wear the hat. But when I want to get into the white supremacy Proud Boy meetings, I just.
Yeah. It's like Clark Kent going backwards.
Yeah.
Tell me the plans.
You look like an informant. Okay, you look like a cop. Plans. You look like a cop.
Yeah.
But seriously, I'm sure you've probably experienced this too, Ian. But it's interesting sometimes what people will say to you when they assume you're friendly. Right. So when you look like when you drive a big truck and you got your hat on, and you fit all these stereotypes, people tend to automatically assume things. And that's when I get like that insider information of, you're a racist piece of shit. Awesome. I'm going to stay away from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about a transformation.
Talk about a transformation. But I'll be honest with you, Ryan. When I think about that, Lola got you.
I love you. That's so funny.
When I think about why that triggered you, I think about look at your wife. I could see that maybe in that context, you are very protective. You're protecting of Black women, Black bodies.
Call maybe now, Bunny.
Oh, is your brother still on?
No, Bunny. Oh, is Pat? Yeah, Pat still is on. But Bunny's gonna call.
Yeah, I'm still on.
Right. So Patrick, we might lose you in a second.
I'll let you guys go so someone else can get on.
Love you, bro. Right, Thanks for calling.
Thank you so much for your time, man. We appreciate you.
All right.
Much love, brother.
Yeah.
I'll call you later, bro.
Love you guys.
But Ryan, when I look at like what you do for others, like you love hard, and it's one of those things that it's not a weakness. It's actually something that's like an amazing shield that you wear. And I could see why that affected you, because you want to give respect. And you even said to me, you're like, Ian, I don't know if I can respect this person before we even got into this.
Yeah.
And then when you saw the lack of respect, you're like, yeah, I don't respect you.
Yeah,
it's already not there.
Yep.
Who do we got?
This might be Angry Bunny. We'll see.
Or a troll.
Hello, you're on with Ryan and Ian.
It's funny.
Angry Bunny! I'm in love, Ryan. Don't tell anybody.
Hey, your secret is safe with us because your wife doesn't watch the show, so we're good.
Doesn't watch the show. What up, Angry Bunny? How you doing?
Can I just say, I'm good. How are you guys? That was amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Listening to that whole thing, I was kind of shaking a little bit just because all the contradictions and all the bullshit that he was just running through. It was just complete baiting and bullshit. He wasn't there for a conversation.
No.
I was so pissed. No.
And what did I tell you, Ian? I said, what is he going to get out of the show? And I said, they're looking for the viral clips of me losing my shit that they can clip, and they're going to watch it. They're going to be posting it within an hour or two. They're going to be on Twitter. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
that's
what he
about
wanted.
sound bites.
Yep.
All of it. Right. Right. It wasn't a serious conversation for him, which pisses me off.
Yeah. Do you think that we held him to the flame, Angry Bunny? Can I call you Buns? No.
I think we did. Yeah, sure.
Did you ask? She's like, yeah.
She said you can call me.
Yeah, sure.
That's how I sound when somebody calls me daddy.
Yes. So you asked, what did you ask again? No,
She's blushing now.
You got
blushing.
Angry Bunny blushing.
Thank you, Angry Bunny.
The Buns. I know. Now I'm all flustered.
We're all taking showers tonight. That's what's happening.
There you go. Cold showers.
Yeah, right.
Do you think we held him to the flame?
Great when it came. Yes, 100%. I mean, it's moments like these that we need to take, and I know there are a lot of people who are just like, we don't want him on the show and all these things, but you got to hear exactly what they're saying and exactly what they're not saying.
Yeah.
The answers that weren't questioned, or the answers that weren't, or the questions that weren't answered.
Yeah.
It's a magnitude of actual speech.
Yeah. Silence
really
is definitely.
The silence is loud.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So, but I feel like, Ian, you did you got your information out there and in there. I was like, holy shit, he's calling him out, which is great. And I felt like every time Ryan was silent, it was actually a rant. Like I could feel it.
His eyes were talking.
I'm like,
his eyes.
Ryan silent.
I actually highly encourage everybody, rewatch the show and just watch Ryan.
Oh God.
Just watch Ryan and literally
was
just
it that bad?
Your body language said a lot.
You sunk in your chair a couple of times and I'm like, oh, he's gripping something right now.
I was gripping underneath.
I'm like, he wants to do
I was right here.
I commend you for not.
Oh, that's so funny that you could tell. Oh my God.
Ryan, there's a camera on you.
I was gripping the arm.
Talking.
I was gripping the arm of my chair. Like I was literally white knuckling my chair. Because again, it's just like
it was amazing.
This is how Donald Trump got elected because people believe that. They believe that crap.
Yeah.
You know, they get talked into their confirmation bias of they're all after us. It's like that was the whole point of me asking, how many times exactly have you been to prison? Because between me and Ian, who grew up in Detroit, I mean, I'm going to speak for me. I've never been to prison. Have you?
No.
So we've never been to prison.
Too pretty.
You know, and it's just kind of like, I've never even been to jail. Like so when I see somebody who's like, oh, well, I made some mistakes early on, bro, you're still making mistakes like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like you're taking people's crap out of their hands and throwing it. You're showing up in public places and berating people because they said something to your mother in court. And simultaneously, the dude doesn't think that he plays any role in what happened to those officers like, you know, Harry Dunn and Michael Fanone and all the other officers that were hurt or passed away for some reason connected to it. That's the infuriating part is there's no personal accountability. Like he hasn't learned his lesson.
No self-reflection.
Nope.
None.
You know,
and Ryan, you said it. You were literally like, there's no self-reflection with you, you know?
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where he's going to play the victim. And at the same time, he's going to play judge and executioner, apparently, but not by violence. And it's like, well, that's not what your resume shows.
Exactly.
You know? Like literally, so when you're saying something, we only could take you from your word, but we know that you're not a serious human being. And it's one of those things where listening to him and seeing him try to weave through a lot of this. And it's one of those things where I didn't want him to feel like Vladimir Zelensky, right? I didn't want him to feel like we were really attacking him. Yeah. So I felt like my position was more so to just keep it about the facts. Ryan, I got a big ass head on the screen.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to fix my camera.
You're good. And literally to keep it, to keep it on. That's a very sinister giggle. Okay, Angry Bunny, that's a very sinister giggle.
Started thinking of what we were talking about, add camera into it, and it was just like, ooh.
There it is. Add camera, my big ass head too now, here it all is. So it's one of those things.
I really hate that you know me so well.
Yeah, I've spent enough time around Angry Bunny in these DM rooms.
We read these tweets. We know what's up. But yes, but it also shows you that he didn't do his homework, and he didn't know what he was walking into for this show.
No.
I'm that guy, which is totally fine. There's no ego here at all, And it really comes down to more so of, let's talk. I really want to know what you think. I want to know what 2.0 looks like. And it didn't disappoint.
But he didn't have a serious answer for that at all.
No.
And the whole thing about like him taking political action and going to the courts and all that stuff, and then him just being like, yeah, but I'm not going to tell you all about that.
Right.
Like
that's concepts of a plan,
one of those moves that it's like dodge and deflect the whole time. And he contradicted himself.
Amy said
that's all it was.
We could tell what Ryan was thinking. You don't have a poker face, and that's why I don't play poker. I did tell Ian.
And you shouldn't. You don't have to have a poker face with these people anymore. Like,
no,
thank you.
You got to serve them with exactly what they serve you. So, I mean, it's time for fuck around and find out. You want to fuck around with all this, you got to find out. And if that comes through words and speech, then that's how it comes through. I mean, I would like to see where that video is. Video
never brought
that
he
kept on talking about, like, and then said he was going to send it over and then never did. Right. And I like, that's the shit that makes you a cult.
Right.
Yep.
Is when you can't put up what you keep on talking about. And it's like, well, if you could be cleared of whatever you're saying you're falsely accused of, then why not put up the evidence?
Hey, I want to play this video. This is the video I was telling you from about Jasmine Crockett. Check this out.
Audio.
Is it not working?
Nope.
Uh-oh. It was working on my side. I wonder if it's because we have Angry Bunny on. Okay, we don't have to do that right now. I was
about to say, you want me to get off?
No. We'd rather talk to you. We'd rather talk to you.
Is there anything, Angry, that you saw about, this is an ADD moment. That's all that was for Ryan.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
So, Angry, is there anything that stood out to you about Tarrio, good or bad? And also, keep this in mind. Was that the first interaction you may have had with him, being so personal, being that this is a show that you watch, what you know about him being from January 6th to now? Do you have a different perspective of him?
No. I still think he's a piece of shit. And he still should be in prison. And he can rot in there.
Amen.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. Don't apologize
honestly,
never. How you
feel?
Angry Bunny, somebody on here said, it would have been nice if the host had let the guest answer questions instead of always talking over him. Really?
That's Tarrio. He came back.
No.
What?
That might be true.
Yeah. Spitfire, Pam. Yeah. Okay. Great. Got it. No, but and when I say that to you, Angry Bunny, is because Buns. When I say that to you, Buns, is that it has a fun ring to it.
Yes.
When I say that to you, it's very personal between us guys. All right. My wife doesn't even know about it, so don't even worry about it. So when I say that to you, is I see these photo shoots of him with his, cosplaying as this person, and I feel like when you peel those layers,
was the perfect word to use.
Thank you. When you peel back a lot of those layers, I have to say I'm kind of disappointed. I'm kind of disappointed in what I just witnessed being with him. And I say that because I really, really thought to myself, like, this is somebody who brought people together and believe in something, to then look at it like this was a bar crawl gone wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like, to see the lack of seriousness, to see him compare himself to civil rights activists and be like, do you think Harriet Tubman was an idiot? Do you think Malcolm X was an idiot? Do you think Martin Luther King was an idiot?
Yeah.
No. They were very about that life. And when I sit there and I listen to him, mind you, he's about that life, but there's this callousness and it looked like cheap shots that he really wanted. And if I ever look at something that's like a Baldwin or even Malcolm X on stage with somebody, I didn't get the buffoonery. And that's something I feel like really unraveled here today.
Yeah, I feel like with someone like him, he is not, like, if he has layers, like, of whatever anybody's expecting of him, and the layers that that he'll only let you see the layers that he allows you to see.
Right.
If there are layers, we're never going to see it. Like, in all reality, I don't think anyone like that is ever going to be completely honest with the public about how they actually feel about something. I mean, the complete contradictions that were going on, like, I wasn't disappointed. I knew exactly what he was going to be when he came in to this, and that's why I think I was so excited to watch the show and every show. I love your shows, but I mean, it was basically, it was everything that I figured he would have been. I don't expect any more than what he's shown.
Then the cosplay. That's what we're gonna get.
Then the cosplay. It was, I mean, in the beginning when he was just like, we're just a joke. We were just a joke and we're not political. And then you talk about taking over school board meetings and seats of elected officials. Like, we're not a political group. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, I'm taking this, that, and whatever over in the state of whatever. I mean, which I found was really weird, because then he was just like, and then we could do it with all the places. And I'm like, and this is where, when you take states' rights, when these people talk about taking states' rights, like, they aren't talking about individual states choosing for themselves. They're talking about taking over individual states and being able to control the narrative.
Yep. That's 100% it.
I really, really appreciate your insight. And you are such a gem to have, not even just on the mic right now with us, but just in general, to see your comments and just to have this dance that we have in our social media romance. What is funny? My wife really does not know about us. So what is, I'm gonna get divorced. What is funny though, what is one of the things that I find really most intriguing is that, you were popping in and you were even fact checking and putting stuff out there. And like I said, you're really spot on. You really come correct. And that was the thing that maybe I was looking for more of a formidable opponent, and instead of this, whatever that cat fight was that he was trying to do with Ryan. But, it's one of those things where
he's Joey Manorino.
That Joey boy.
And you want,
whatever.
The funniest part was, so like we said, Ian and I were getting into it while we were getting the show together, and he's like, we can't have a Joey Manorino.
No.
And I was just like, motherfucker.
What? And I go, no, because it's not going to be, you're not going to, I want to give people rope, and either you're going to climb up or you're going to hang yourself. And I wanted to hear what he had to say, and I wanted to challenge what he had to say.
Oh, here's my question. At what point in the show did you give up on that, Ian?
Well, that's you see the moment when he started talking about how they were going to mobilize and do all these things, and how they weren't. It's something he said, and I said, so you guys who came from this Broadway play musical, and he goes, touche. I go, this guy's a fucking clown. Yep. I was like, okay. Because the moment he gave me my props and I called him out immediately, then he quickly realized that I was a threat. And then he quickly realized, okay, this guy came correct, And it's one of those things. It's a fact that just, I feel like it's a lie, that they named themselves after a Broadway song. And I'm like, this is not real, is it? For being what they are?
I couldn't believe it when you told me that, honestly. I was like, no.
Right. And I'm just like, this can't be true, but it's true. And then it's looking at, how the Proud Boys were. We didn't even talk about Gavin being, immigrant coming here. And then, which is wild to me, that Gavin started Vice Media and then the Proud Boys. So you have this duality within this own individual who walked away, and then Tarrio took over. But it just shows you the callousness. It shows you the lack of empathy. And then it shows you that it really is this conservative circle jerk, that it's just like, they're not bringing anything to the table. And they were the perfect fall for what this MAGA really needed. They needed them to throw to the wolves. And that's why I talk about Ginni Thomas, because she was doing the same exact thing, which was well more connected.
Oh, when he said he didn't know who that was, my God.
I could feel
your comment sections lit up.
Yes.
My fucking computer.
Yes, I felt it.
Yeah, okay.
I felt it, Buns. I was like, Bunny's angry.
But did you guys catch how he later said, like, literally 2 or 4 sentences later, he said, "Oh, I know personally that they didn't." I'm like, I thought you just said you didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
But now you have personal information on how she
Roger
responded on
Stone.
January. Like, come on, man.
But there's parts that I do feel that he also is trying to stay in good faith with his masters. And
for
that's
sure.
one of the biggest
people that
things
just
that it's
pardoned him.
like, you know what I mean? He's not trying to put anybody in a position. And we know how that's going with Thomas and with Ginni. So it's really interesting to see how this kind of goes and plays out. But this is why I wanted to ask the question, what's 2.0? What are we looking at? What are we fighting? We need to know what the next phase of all this is. And I hope everybody paid attention. I really do. Because if this person wants to run your city, your state, your Congress, you need to know what you're dealing with.
So what's
and this is why midterms are so important.
No,
and
they
special
really
elections. And special elections.
Yeah.
Yep.
And special elections, small, local, your police chief, all of it is so important in this sense, because there are people like him who are running who don't care about your individual freedom. They really don't. So they may spout that they care about individual freedom, but he's got to know, I'm sorry, you can't be part of the Proud Boys and be all for individual freedom at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, it's just the weirdest thing for me is, and this is where I don't think he's a rational person. Like he's clearly got something wrong with him. I'm not going to try to figure out what it is, but it's like, dude, you just got pardoned. Like you literally got a get out of jail free card. Most rational people would be like, thank you, sir. I'm going to go over here, keep my happy ass quiet, live my life, and thank God that I'm not going to be in prison for 22 years. Like the dude literally was only out for weeks and he's getting arrested for basically assaulting people.
Yeah, he has a pen pal. He has somebody in there that he wants to see. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Yeah. Thank you for not asking those questions.
Do you have a pen pal? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, no, I'm not even interested. I don't want to know who you're making the juice with in the toilet. I'm not interested. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. You know, that's a prison joke, guys, because it's real. It's real. But no, it's, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, I'm going to sit with this. I'm going to sit with this. I'm going to process this. I'm going to digest it. I'm going to probably do more thinking than Tarrio's ever done, about any thought, you know, in general. And I'm going to reflect on this. I'm going to rewatch it. I'm definitely going to watch you, Ryan. That's going to be the favorite part.
I think
watching Ryan think.
Yeah. Watch him sink into a seat and grab things.
Yeah, I would say let's start a drinking, you know, game where you take a shot every time I roll my eyes, but you know, we don't want anybody to die.
No, we'll be wasted at Kamala.
So,
okay, we would literally be wasted at that point on. It's like, here we go.
Yeah, there was a couple of big eye rolls. So good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Well, Bunny, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. It's good to hear your voice.
Yeah.
It's good. You know, you really bring a lot to the show.
We love you too.
You bring so much to us, so we really appreciate you. Thank you so much, and save the number and you call
you
back
guys
anytime.
do the same, so.
For sure. Thanks, Bunny.
Have a beautiful night.
I will. I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay.
Stay safe.
You too. Bye.
All right, everybody. So I think we're going to be done taking calls for tonight, but just wanted to thank Angry Bunny and my big brother for calling in. We really do appreciate all your support. I think a lot of, if you're a fan of this show, then I think you anticipate it being somewhat of a shit show, knowing that I would probably lose my cool once or twice. Like Ian said, I think we got what we expected out of this. I honestly actually expected a little bit more of a good faith conversation with him, but
I was hoping.
Yeah, but it was evident pretty early on that wasn't going to happen. So then it just kind of became, okay, now I just want to get my talking point or, you know, my clip out and call it a freaking day. And that's pretty much where I was with it at the end. But we talk a lot about Democrats not fighting the fight. And Ian and I went back and forth about doing this show quite a bit. And that was kind of one of the things that we both kept settling on was we got to take the fight to these people. Yeah. And, you know, like everything, you learn something from every battle, every fight, you know, how to handle it better next time, things like that. But I think with this, you know, I'm not going to speak for Ian, but for me, he acted pretty much the way I thought he would. Like I said, I thought we'd have a little bit better conversation, maybe around January 6th, but Once I realized that wasn't going to happen, then I just kind of gave up on. I kind of fell into my normal role, I guess we'll say. But yeah, just before we get off, I think my positive today is that I have an awesome podcast and business partner that can pick up the slack when I have to hit the mute button for a minute and collect myself. So I'm very, very thankful for you, brother. And like you said, man, it's you and me till the wheels fall off this thing. So
it's like Outcast, baby. We on our Stankonia. Don't even worry.
That's
about
right. It. I started a thing today. I said, this is the Elon Musk was crying about the cars getting burned in Vegas or whatever it was. And he's going on his little crybaby tour. And I was like, he keeps talking about, I thought the left was about empathy and tolerance. Like, no, bro, we fired them. They're collecting unemployment now. We've started a new movement, and you might want to consider this our attitude era.
Yeah.
Like we're not playing nice anymore. And I challenge you, I'll post this video of Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett went out and said the exact same fucking thing that I've been saying almost word for fucking word for 2.5 years.
She's a fan of the show, guys. She's paying attention to Ryan.
I mean, she does follow me. Shout out Jasmine Crockett.
It's like we love Crockett.
But I never tag her or anything because I don't ever expect anything from her. But she does follow. Yeah. But I support her because I support what she's doing. I support her voice. I think her, along with a handful of other Democrats and liberals and even an independent, are out there fighting the fight that needs to be fought right now on the legislative side. And why I hope that maybe one day I can get into political office. Maybe this is it. Maybe I'm supposed to be an influencer on the outside, and I'm okay with that. Maybe this is just my role. And I look forward to continuing to play that role, with Ian for you guys, because this is going to be, I think today is literally the 60th day or 61st day, because 28 days last month, but we're 60 days into this presidency. Why it feels like it's been a year, it's only been 60 days.
Yeah.
So bear with us, like I keep saying, take those mental health breaks. We got to show up to these fights though. And I think in a very small way, Ian and I did that tonight. I enjoy pointing out the hypocrisy and the fact that they can't answer simple questions. They like to talk about policy, but they can never talk about policy.
Yeah.
So, again, very thankful for you, brother. Very thankful for all of our supporters, everybody that's been downloading the show, not just here, but in other countries. I've seen an uptick in our downloads in other countries. So clearly everybody's starting to pay attention to what's going on here. So
we are the fight. We are the opposition, and we understand our position, and we're showing up. And if you guys tuning in, if this is your first time seeing the show, we're showing up.
Yep.
We're not backing down. Ryan and I have talked about it, how we do fight. Ryan is on Twitter. I don't do Twitter. I'm dyslexic. I don't care. It means nothing to me to write words to people. I'd rather have them here where they can deal with me personally. And if they have the guts, he did show up.
Yep.
He clearly had people in his room. So he had his little, his boys with him. He had his boys in his room with him that were off camera, but Ryan has his boy right here.
Yep.
And I'm showing my face, and we're showing up. And that's the one thing I want you guys to know when you walk away, knowing that you're going to come hold the mic. We show up. We're not backing down. Nope. And we literally are going to bring the fight every day that we can.
I've been looking at running. It really is just finding the right opportunity. I'm not real interested in running just to run. Like, I want to know that I have an honest shot to win. So if that opportunity presents itself, I'll jump at it without even questioning it. Jen, my wife, she already knows what the plan is. She's behind it. We've had discussions about it. So if and when the opportunity does come up, whether it's for, a school board seat or a state, seat or whatever, I'll jump at it. But in the meantime, the facts remain that the Democratic Party really doesn't sign off on my approach. And because of that, they don't, like, if you go look at all the social media influencers and stuff, guys, over the last, while Biden was in office, Go see how many times they invited political influencers to the White House and how many of them got invited.
Right.
And then go see if I ever got invited. That'll tell you everything you need to know. I had bigger followings than some of the people that got invited to the White House.
And I think this is the changing of the guard. I think this is, and it's not that we're looking for clout with this. We are looking to actually
but it helps.
Okay. All right. But my point is that we're looking to get in the mud.
Yeah.
And really hold people to the flame. And that's the main focus of what I feel like our show is. And as we said, we have special elections in the next month in April, and we have midterms that are coming up in 2026. That is our focus. I could care less about an influencer. I could care less about how the Democratic Party wants to either let us in or not. I don't need an invite. I'm kicking in the door, and I'm letting people know that.
Schumer keeps bringing casseroles to knife fights.
I mean, look, Anthony, I'm going to tell you. No, but Anthony, I'm going to tell you right now. That's a good one. Anthony, I hate your fucking soundboard. Anthony, I'm gonna tell you right now that I really gave it some thought about why Schumer, and he's my congressman. I actually called him, and when I tell you guys that I do this for the show, I also am reaching out to the people here. I'm not playing around, and good or bad, I'm gonna reach out to them and let them know where we stand. But I really do see his side of it, where it's if they did a government shutdown, there would be no courts to fight Trump. Right now, the only fight that we do have against this administration is the courts. That's the reason why they could stop flights and say, you are not doing X, Y, and Z. And we will have a hearing this Friday about X, Y, and Z. So there is a part where I do understand they were put in a position of horrible or terrible, and they went with horrible, which is going to affect mega.
Yep.
There's no way around it. Look at all these town halls. This is Republicans who are literally upset that they were affected by their own choices.
It's not just Republicans anymore. They had a town hall with Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallego here in Arizona.
Your boys.
And they were letting them have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not just Republicans getting it now either.
Them getting it. Well, that's because the government's not working. But when you look at that and you're like, okay, but who's in charge of the government? And this is the part where we have to look at who is running things. They can't do anything. And they did what they did. They voted the way they voted. But my point is, when we're trying to sit here and infight about something, the reality is we need to look at long-term strategy, and we need to learn how we need to work together, and we need to build a stronger coalition that is ready to fight. So when you're asked to protest, you show up and you let them know that the bodies are in the streets. But the thing that I'm seeing right now is they're not showing the police use of force, because not a lot of black bodies in the streets, if you have not noticed. It's a lot of Republicans. And the black voices are like, no, this is your lesson to learn.
Rightfully so.
Not ours. And this is the thing that if you're not noticing, they're trying to goat black people into the streets. They just removed Jackie Robinson, the most American. He is Captain America. They just removed him from his military record. They are trying their hardest to goat black people. Segregation is back in order. My sister and I just called each other laughing, and we said, you know what? Bring that segregation back. We're going to build a new Black Wall Street, and y'all can't come in. That's it. And we'll
be armed this time.
It will be armed this time. We ain't playing with none of y'all no more.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Bring back the segregation. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you invited to the barbecue.
I mean, I'll do security.
No, we don't trust. We don't trust you with security. All right.
Okay, well that's fair. That's fair.
you just get on the grill.
You just go hang out over there.
That's it. We need a Ryan Rand. We need some stand up. You know what I'm saying? And I know you don't put raisins in potato salad, so you good. You in. But what my point is, when you look at this and you look at where they're going with it, and the fact that we're not getting goaded into any of this, and you look at how they goaded Tarrio to think that he was more important than he was, like he didn't see the writing on the wall. And it's one of those things that I really see where it's like a girl handed him a document. He disclaims that it was just in a group chat that he didn't open.
Response.
But you know what? If that's how you feel, you didn't look at it.
Just on my phone.
My man, I got a sister who can hand you a document. You know what I'm saying? So just stand back and stand by. Like you're good. You know what I mean? It's like this is the reality of them. So we'll see. We'll see. But I wanted you guys to get a good taste of who he was, where it wasn't just the glitz and glam of on TV. It's more so of clearly YouTube or X. But we wanted you to see who this person was to pull back on a lot of the cosplaying. And you know what, Ryan? I feel like we accomplished some of that. And you got a nice.
Oh, you did.
No, you got a nice Ryan rant in there. And you know what? You didn't have the Twitter fingers. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have to do all this. You just got to say it.
Yeah.
You did get to say some things you wanted to say.
No, I definitely did. I didn't hold back entirely, but
no.
You know,
and be honest.
What I liked was, you know, it felt justified.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's like, "Oh, I would never silence you." And it's like, "Well, if you don't shut the fuck up, I'm going to pull."
I'll be honest. How was that button?
It was beautiful.
Off.
Oh, it's fucking beautiful. Like my heart actually fluttered when I did it, if I'm being honest. But
I did this. Where's Tarrio?
Yeah, and I was like, I took his bitch ass off. So, but no, it was like, if you're just gonna talk over me, it's my show. Yeah. Like I'm gonna mute you and I'm gonna finish my point. Okay, now you talk.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, we asked you directly, how could you, as a father, you know, this dude's got kids. How are you gonna go out and publicly support a fucking rapist and accused pedophile?
Yeah.
One day your kids are gonna see that. And as much as you guys want to try to, you know, say it was a bogus judicial court or juries or whatever, 2 different juries called him a rapist.
Yeah.
The judge in New York came out and said, yes, he is a rapist. Under our state laws, he is a rapist.
Yeah.
So and you guys can sit there and say it's not accurate, it's not real, but the reality is, yes, it is. And if the same people that want to believe one sentence out of a diary about, oh, taking showers with my dad, not sure if it was appropriate or whatever the hell the sentence was. It's like you guys took that and ran with it for 4 years. But when it comes to Donald Trump, you guys took Hunter Biden's laptop with, you know, pictures of his dick and, you know, pictures with hookers and whatever else it is you found on that laptop. But yet you still voted for the convicted felon, the business fraud, the rapist, and the accused pedophile.
Yeah.
That's the reason I'll never be able to just get down with anybody that supports Trump. I can't get down with anybody that even remotely.
The two things that he said was, I don't like his character. It's not what I voted for. And it's for his policies, but I don't know his policies. So when you just listen to the argument of it, we could just shorten the entire 2-hour episode that we have here. You know, when you listen to his argument, it was concepts of a plan. Mm-hmm. There's nothing there. So this whole little, you're happy that a woman got shot because she's MAGA. That's the only reason. You literally just showed to us that you voted for somebody you don't know anything about. You don't agree with who they are, you know, and you can't cite one policy that they actually stand with. And you said you were in prison. I'm pretty sure that people can talk in prison. I'm pretty sure you can get news when you're in prison. Matter of fact, when I talk to my brother and he tells me what's going on from prison, he gets the news.
It's like you got more time than most people to
and you clearly didn't use it. You know what I mean? You clearly didn't use it. People get masters in prison. People fight their own case because they look at their case again, over and over again. So it goes to show what's there. But he's an individual that you could sell a bridge to, is what I really got from that. And you know what?
Trump
it
did.
Is what it is. You know, he did. He sold him a bridge.
Anyway, give us your positive. We can get the hell out of here.
Man, this right here, you know,
you can't do the same thing as me.
No. It's not you. It's this.
When you put it like that,
it's watching this show grow, watching you put in the work you do, watching you still be a really amazing father. I love turning the knife on you. You know, the same shit you told your kids, I told you, using the same argument, and you just write dick to me. It's just amazing. You know, I love the partnership. Getting to finally hear Bun's voice, and now I know what she sounds like.
Yes.
And hearing Big Bro, you know, I see the progress of the show. And one of the biggest things is that this shows me that we're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And you guys, if you haven't, hit the like, subscribe, notification. We are here every Wednesday night live. We cut up clips. We're getting better at cutting up clips and getting it out there. But chime in. We want to hear from you. We want you to call. We want you to be engaged. We want to hear your voices. The focus is to build community. And this is my positive. We are building community.
For sure. All right, everybody that hung out with us for over
Real quick,
2
hit
hours.
up Angry Bunny's message. I just want y'all to see that.
Where's it?
Pop. Give that a shout out.
It was a shaky voice. You made me nervous.
Love you, Buns. Get some rest, girl. Get some rest.
She's wiping off the inner thighs right now. Like, love you guys. No, but like we said, thank you for the support. Thanks for watching this shit show. That was Enrique Tarrio. I actually had a blast, all things considered. So make sure, like you said, hit that like, subscribe. Appreciate the support. We'll start.
Also, all of Ryan's haters, make some more art. That shit is great. Okay, I want your trolls. Make some more art of Ryan. Best of. We'll do a segment.
You know what? Actually, yeah. If you guys, we do need to do a best of the trolls.
Yeah.
But with that said, I'm gonna leave you as I always do with much love. Keep fighting. But whatever you do, make sure you stay safe out there because these people are fucking crazy.